Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
After a record-breaking season in 2022, the Jumbos have come out the gate with a tough loss to the first-ranked Trinity College Bantams. However, under the lights on homecoming night, they look to bounce back as they take on the Bates Bobcats. Bates, also posting an 0-1 record after a hard-fought game against the Wesleyan Cardinals, looks to find their footing in the second year under head coach Matt Coyne. Through the rain, these teams will square off in a battle of grit on the gridiron. This is Tufts University football here on JumboCast. Welcome to the Ellis Oval on the campus of Tufts University, where the Tufts Jumbos look to claim their first win of the season as they take on the Bates Bobcats. I am Jordan Burke, joined today by Henry Burns. Henry, it's first time on the mic, homecoming game, NESCAC football. How you feeling? You excited?
Jordan, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't a little nervous. But let me tell you, it's the good type of nerves. It's those type of nerves I remember back in my days on the gridiron.
Now, I know we're not too far into the season, so we can't really talk about struggles and what's really working well for either side of the team. But Henry, kind of take me through both of these teams and what you'd like to see from them today.
Yep, for sure. So what sticks out to me the most today in today's matchup is the youth that's on this Bates defensive side. With a prolific signal caller like Berluti, I'd like to see the high-flying Jumbos test these young rookies. So Bates has two true freshmen taking over at both free and strong safety. Tufts loves to air it out, and I can't imagine Berluti and Richardson haven't been scheming up how to add a few more highlight deep balls to their already robust catalog. And turning it over to the defensive side, the Bows have to pressure Bates quarterback Colton Bosselate. Last week, Tufts had 12 quarterback hits, but came up empty in the sacks department. While pressure against the pass will be key, Bates loves to pound the rock, especially in a rainy day like today. Last week, Trinity ran the ball at will against Tufts, so the big boys up front will be crucial in stopping true freshman Ryan Linsky. And while on the topic of Linsky, let's move the keys of the game for the Bobcats. Last week, Linsky was who kept the game close for Bates. They're going to need him again this week. He's a true dual-threat running back, taking the Cardinals last week for 39 yards on the ground and a touchdown, and 74 and another touchdown through the air. With Tufts defense vulnerable to the running back position, look for Linsky to feast tonight. Complementing Linsky on offense is junior quarterback Colton Bosselate, and against this middle-of-the-pack Tufts defense, short game and manufactured drives are your friend. Last week, Bates was dominated in the time of possession game, so establishing drives will keep him in this game. Flipping over to defense, Bobcats head coach Matt Coyne talked this offseason about how excited he was to have so much talent on the D-line and how deep they are. The 4-3 defense they run requires this deep rotation today, and it'll be a great test for the new recruits. Neutralizing Berluti requires quick linemen who can rush the pass and stop the quarterback scramble.
Very well said there, Henry. We're going to look to these teams to try and implement any of these keys to the game, kind of trying to see whether or not those will be. It is going to be a hard-fought one for sure. We're about 8 minutes out from game time, but the teams have some hype videos prepared, intros, national anthem, all that good jazz. So we're going to step aside for a quick moment and kind of take you through those.
You look each other in the damn eyes, and you know you left it all out there for them. That's all that matters. This team right here, right now.
Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that hype video provided by Tufts Jumbos. Team's taking the field right now, and you guys are getting to check out some of our new equipment. We here at JumboCast love to try and upgrade our tech. Check out some of the cool stuff. You guys just witnessed our completely remote sideline camera, which we will be using throughout the day today, and have a couple of other surprises that we plan on using that for. If you guys like what you see, feel free to leave some comments, maybe even ideas that you would like to see implemented. You can also kind of suggest those to us, and we'll see if we can manage to get those happening. But moments away from getting into this game, Henry, and we started talking a little bit about how these teams are going to look to win the game. But to get there, we also need to talk about how they didn't really get things going in their previous games, and we isolated specifically the run game. Talked about it a whole lot, so we have a lovely graphic made here. Get those legs moving. Henry, walk me through it.
Indeed, Jordan, get those legs moving. 16 carries last week for the Jumbos. Now, I'll tell you, that's part of the game script. They were losing bad 28-0 at half. But, I mean, you take a look outside right now. Look at the weather. It's pouring. It's coming down. You got to run the ball in the rain. That's gridiron football right there. Bates loves to run the ball, though. So last week they had 25 carries for 90 yards. 20 of those carries came from, it was an even split between their running back and their quarterback. So 10 carries for their running back and 10 carries for the quarterback. So let's look to get Tufts a little bit more action on the run game tonight.
Yeah, you started to touch upon how the Jumbos were in a position where they really needed to throw the ball. If you looked at the stats, Berluti having to throw the ball 53 times. That is an absurd number. Oh, if we look into the field, just noticing this right now, look, number 14. That is the new Tufts president, Kumar.
I tell you what, I used to wear 14 back in high school. That looks great on Kumar.
Absolutely love to see it. Coming back to the game for a little bit, though, Henry, you did start to touch upon the passing game. We just said, 53 pass attempts by Berluti in the previous game. heck of a lot more than what Bates had. With the rain coming in, we might not see the same numbers that we saw last week. But if we take a look at some of the incredible passing game that came out yesterday, let's check out what was in the air that night.
Well, I tell you what, Richardson and Moore had a day last weekend. 12 receptions combined for 249, basically 250, and 3 touchdowns. Richardson led the pack there, but Moore had the day of his career so far. A young career, but we're looking for more today. But if you look over at Bates, they were slow. They did not have a great prolific success through the air. You like to see more than 128 yards, all the receivers combined. I mean, it's double from Tufts, just between Richardson and Moore on top of Bates receivers. So we're going to need to see more today from the Bates receivers.
Yeah, Richardson alone having more receiving yards than yards by all of the Bates offense. Combine these two players for those 249 yards, and that's more than all yards combined gained by Bates. 128.90, that's 218. No, I am an engineer. I'm pretty good at math. 249 is greater than the national anthem, but we will be right back and take you guys into this game. Well, Henry, we were speculating earlier with the rain, even though it is homecoming, big event here on Tufts campus, we were wondering if the rain was going to have an impact on the amount of fans showing up. We know that the football parents always love to come out. They're always loud, always screaming. They definitely are here. But looking around, I mean, we got fans for days. The entirety of the bleachers are packed. Off to the side of the oval, we got a whole bunch of tents, too, also packed. I mean, does it really just get any better than this? Might be a rainy day, but it seems like the vibes are just there.
Listen, I tell you what, the student sections showed up today. I mean, it could be due to their record-breaking performances last year, but I'd say the hype right now around this Tufts team is at an all-time high. You really just don't see this too often out here at the Ellis Oval.
Teams out taking the field. Looks like Bates are going to start with the ball. You see Patrick Walsh lining up for kickoff right now. He's in a grad year, came back after a great season last year by the Jumbos. Really just wanted to play with this team again after their 6-3 year. Patrick Walsh also punting, so might see him again throughout this game, kind of showing off all aspects of how to kick a ball.
I tell you what, though, he's a punter, but with that frame, you could argue he could get out at linebacker or something, or maybe tight end in the jumbo package. My goodness.
And we're off. This one sailing back, looks like it's going to get into the end zone. Touchback. So already seeing players sliding.
Yeah, looks wet out on the field here. This is the first look we're going to get of the Bates offense. Last week, I'd say they only had 4 players who caught a pass. So let's see if Boss Lake can share the rock a little bit. I'd be curious to see if they come out with a runner pass and just set the tone here.
Boss Lake last week, 10 for 27, no interceptions, only a 37% 37 completion percentage in that game. Had a couple of running yards as well. See him and Linsky lined up in the backfield right now.
Yep.
Just like this, getting underway, motion behind. That one's going to be a handoff. Tackled, not a huge gain, only a couple of 3 as Sergio Beltran gets taken down.
I tell you what, Sergio Beltran used to play quarterback, transition to wide receiver. He's their wide receiver 1 listed on the roster. I like seeing Bates use that heavy personnel with the tight end, 6 linemen and a tight end in there, sending the motion the same way the tight end, wrap around the end. Good start there, picking up about 4.
Taking the running game to a whole nother level, not just using the running back. Linsky still in behind the quarterback Bosselate now. Bringing yet another man in motion, taking him around the side. Handoff to Linsky, stopped at the line, but he gets off of it. He's still up, still going, makes a couple of guys miss, taken down at the sideline at just about the yard to gain.
I tell you what, you see Tufts in that press cover 1 right there. They send the motion away from the direction they're going to run the ball and then send Linsky to cut back towards where they sent the motion from. Moved the DB across the field and opened up a running lane right there. That was a great play.
Linsky, the true freshman, really making men miss there. Looked like he got stopped at the line. I was convinced he was stopped at the line. Just continued to push through.
It's the first spread look we've seen from Bates today.
Saw Beltran moving over to the other side, left side of the line. Faking the handoff is Bossele. He's got 2 guys in his face. Going to hurl one down. He's looking for Beltran. Beltran doubling back. Can't get it. Flag being thrown at the end. Coverage might have been a little too much there.
I don't know. That definitely was PI, but got a little bailed out by the underthrown ball. You see that a lot in the NFL these days, too. The underthrown ball just causes the DB to usually commit PI. There's nothing really you can do there.
Now, in Division III football, do have a little different rules than in the NFL. Pass interference, not spot foul. Only a 15-yard penalty here, so the Jumbos going to feel a little bit more comfortable with that flag being thrown. Not huge for them that they do have to give up some of those yards, but definitely would prefer to have Bates around the 50 as opposed to, well within the red zone.
Yep.
Bates at about midfield. Little over in Jumbo's territory. Bossele fakes the handoff, almost gets brought down behind the line, makes 2 men miss. Doesn't get a whole lot more, though. Might have had a 1-yard pickup as the Jumbos definitely brought the defensive package there.
I like to see the read option coming out from Bates there. That was the right read, the end bit on the handoff, but Tufts filled the gap pretty well with the linebacker coming over from the left side. I spoke about this when we talked about the keys of the game, though. Bossele and Linsky pretty much split carries last week. Bossele with 10 carries. So look, I mean, he's a big body. Look to see him get a lot of action tonight on the ground.
All receivers lined up on the right side now for the Bobcats. Jumbo's primary DB, Timmons, having to deal with nobody there. And as I call his name, he picks off, in a sense of pick off. He didn't actually get an interception. Poor word choice by me. I'm sorry. I'm new at this.
That was a run play.
Yeah. I meant it more along the lines of he figured out that the ball was being handed off to Linsky, made the tackle. Great stop.
Yep.
Small gain. 3rd and mid now coming up for the Bobcats.
I like to see them keep switching up this personnel. They just had trips on the last play. Now they're moving into a 2-by-1 set here. I mean, this is passing territory, though. Let's see what Bosley can provide. Tough showing this cover 1 man press look. I mean, you like to see the left side here.
Bosley ball in hand, looking deep off of the left side. Was that a one-handed catch? No, almost was. Drew Sachs, the wide receiver, targeted there. Almost had it in his hand. That was moments away from a highlight reel kind of a play. Just a little bit short. About midfield, 4th and 7 to go. Thinking we're going to see a punt.
That was the right read right there by Bosley, though. Sachs had a step on the DB, and, I mean, it's 3rd and long. You like to take a shot, so can't be too unhappy with that. That was almost a heck of a catch.
Archie Green Jr., the punter for Bates, in right now. Gets this one off. A little bit of a shorter punt, taking a good bounce, though. Going to keep rolling, and rolling. That one down at the 11-yard marker. The Jumbo's going to have a long field ahead of them as the offense looks to take their stance. Try and put up the first points for any team so far today.
I think it's going to be hard to imagine any record-breaking punts tonight, though. It is brutal to punt out in conditions like this. So safety over going for that long hang time, I say.
Michael Berluti getting ready to work. Had an incredible year last year for this Jumbos team, having to work without his primary target from last year in Phil Lutz. First thing here, going to be handed off to Chartelis Reese, coming in, playing a dual running back, linebacker position. Nice gain of about 7.
Yep. It's nice to see Chartelis Reese stepping up this year. Last year, he only had 1 carry for 4 yards, so it's good to see him getting the starting nod at the running back position. I can't believe we made it this far into the broadcast without mentioning Phil Lutz, though. It's unbelievable.
Oh. That one actually a 10-yard gain, excuse me. 1 run, 1 first down for the Bows. Hand back off to Reese. He stopped behind the line. Oh, he actually gets out of it. Spin still brought down at about the line. Not really getting much there.
That was a great spin move right there, though. I wonder if the turf conditions played into him going down a little early. It looked like he had a little bit of a gap, but again, like we were talking about earlier, setting the tone early with the run here from Tufts. That's 2 right out of the bat.
It seems as if the rain's also making evasiveness a bigger factor as well, as a bunch of players have been stopped, first contact made, and just slipping out of it every single time.
Yeah.
4 receiver set here for the Jumbos. Berluti looking to pass, goes off to his left, not able to find anyone there. Pass intended for number 13, C.J. Burton.
Yeah, broken up by Jaron Sato, I think, on the defense there. Last week he had 7 total tackles. He's one of their key players in the secondary. He's one of the returners, return men in this young defense, so look for him to be a key again.
3rd and long. Jumbos needing to get 9 yards here. Keep their offensive drive going. Berluti dropping back, looking deep, throws over the middle. He's got Richardson. Richardson with the first down, breaks a tackle, still up. Takes 4 Bobcats to take him down.
That was a great little dig route there by Richardson. Knew exactly where the sticks were. Ran about 10 yards in and then hit it real hard to cut on the inside and fell right between the gap on the linebackers.
Richardson, the wide receiver 2 last year behind Phil Lutz. We were wondering whether or not he'd be able to handle the same type of a load that Phil Lutz had. And the answer so far has been 100% yes. I mean, this kid is just something else.
Absolutely. I mean, he was our wide receiver 2 last year, but he would be a wide receiver 1 pretty much anywhere else, I'd have to say.
He's now lined up on the left side of the field. Handoff to Reese here. Going to gain a couple of yards, maybe 2, as he is brought down by Michael Spencer.
Reese already tripling his total carries from last season on this first drive, so that's what you like to see. I love Tufts establishing this run right here because as soon as you establish the run game early, your passing game is wide open, especially when they move into those spread sets like they just did on that first down completion to Jaden Richardson.
Jumbo's keeping the same men out there. Read option there by Berluti. He's got yards. No one in front of him. He's taken off. Berluti down the sideline. He's going to keep going. Going all the way. Yes, he is. Michael Berluti rushing touchdown.
Oh, my goodness. What a play by Berluti. But I'll tell you what, did you see the block out on the left side by Jaden Richardson? He absolutely pancaked the DB out there and just set the edge. I cannot believe that. I tell you, they've already got more rushing yards this week than last year.
Battle in the rain. The rushing game needed to be crucial. The Jumbos having virtually no rushing offense in their previous game. Right there, come out swinging. Great read option by Berluti, taking the ball himself. Man, can he move.
Absolutely.
Vaughn Seelick, the sophomore kicker, out for the PAT. 1 for 2 in last week's game. And it's good. Jumbo's out to a 7-0 lead in the early parts of this game.
That's about as good as you can draw it up for the Jumbos. I have to imagine head coach Jay Savetti is pleased, to say the least, with that opening drive. Let's see here how Bates can respond. I mean, they had a little bit going on that first drive, took a deep shot, got the PI call, moved the ball to about the 50-yard line, but after that, they pretty much went 3 and out. So that was the story of their offense last week, too. They went 3 and out 3 times, including a 4 and out as well. So like I kind of touched on earlier, Bates needs to increase their time of possession. Last week, sitting in the low 20s, 20 minutes of possession last week against Wesleyan. So, again, if you're going to keep up with this high-flying Tufts offense, the best way to do it is to have your offense hold on to the ball longer and keep the ball out of Berludi's hands for as long as you can. So let's see what they can. You need to manufacture a drive right here for your Bates. This is a crucial part of the game.
Wind blowing in favor of the Jumbos. Going to help on this kickoff, trying to get that ball through the end zone, minimize the amount of yards that the Bobcats can gain back off of the return. Jack Walsh kicking this one, looking like it's still going to be in play. Nope, carries. There's the wind.
Well, that's back-to-back touchbacks for Jack Walsh there.
Sophomore Stephen Lardy for the Bobcats, sitting back watching that one go.
Now, if you're the Bobcats and you were looking at film this whole week, you would see that last week, Trinity wide receiver Sean Clapp went for 9 receptions for 172 yards on this Jumbo's defense. However, again, Jordan, like we've touched on so many times, the weather tonight, I just don't know. I can't see Bates having a receiver go for 172 yards tonight, but maybe they'll prove me wrong.
Bosselate now working from a deficit, trying to compound a drive that nets the Bobcats some points. He'll hand that one off to Linsky. Linsky barreling up the middle. He'll pick up about 6.
That's a great. That's how you stay on schedule right there. A 6-yard run to start off the drive. You pick up 3.5 every play on a run. I mean, you can't be unhappy. So 6 is perfect.
E.J. Comerford making the stop there for the Jumbos. Had 13 tackles last week, forced a fumble, had himself a pretty great game defensively. You know, might have given up 44 points, but he personally really did shine.
They got this spread look here with Sergio Beltran in the slot on the left side. He's manned up with no safety help over top. He is a quick dude. Although DB's playing about 3-4 yards off him, so.
Beltran lined up with Garza. Bosselate going to roll out to his right, take this one himself. No Jumbo in sight. Up, keeps moving. Big pickup on the run from Bosselate.
You know, we talk about all the time how Berludi is quick, how Berludi can run. Bosselate's right up there in the NESCAC in terms of quarterbacks who can move. This is true, sort of the new age type of football, though, but quarterbacks love to run these days. Definitely like the play call there. Looked like a flood route and had Bosselate rolling out to his right looking for a play. Nothing there. Nothing wrong with tucking and running. Showing an empty look and then motioning Linsky back into the backfield here. Just a straight up spread.
Well, the Bobcats do like to use Linsky as a receiver as well. Had 74 receiving yards in their previous game. They'll keep him in motion. Bosselate going to swing that one out to his right. Massive bobbles by Drew Sachs. Had it, lost it, had it again, lost it again. Lucky the Jumbos didn't go and pick that one off. They did have a couple of DBs in the range, diving at the end, trying to get it, but ultimately come up empty.
Getting a little fancy there with the play calling, sending out Linsky to the left like that. I mean, we said Linsky had 74 receiving yards last week, so he's a threat. If you're the Jumbos, you have to respect that. But, you know, when you throw a screen pass like that to the right side, if it's above you and you're a wide receiver, sometimes you just got to bat it down. I mean, that's danger of pick 6 territory right there if you bat that around forever.
Sometimes defense could be the best offense.
Indeed.
Bosselate with Linsky to his right. Going to call for Beltran in motion, not hand him off the ball. Instead, we're going to throw that one for a 1st-yard gain. Pickup of about 14-15 as the ball was brought in by the senior tight end, Stephen Guaret.
Now, that was one of the first times I think we've seen the Jumbos go to a zone look right there. At least on the right half of that field. They did not. You saw the motion go in play, but nobody followed. So it looked like zone. Bosselate really found a hole right between the safety and the DB on the right side.
Been having a lot of players in motion. It seems to be working out pretty well for them. They're typical guys. They're keeping in motion in Beltran and in Linsky, just not getting the ball, and the Jumbos anticipating that it's going to go there. Bosselate designed run. Oh, excuse me, not Bosselate. That was number 1, Seneca Moore.
Well, they brought in the backup quarterback, the freshman, true freshman, Seneca Moore. And this is, you know, Bates is young, real young. If you look down the roster, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomore. That does not surprise me at all to get a lot of different looks in here with a lot of different players you would never have seen before in the NESCAC. So a lot of utility guys like Seneca Moore and, like we already said, Sergio Beltran, who converted from quarterback to wide receiver. So tons of talent out here.
Moore listed at 6'2". Seems to be a little quicker then Bosselate, maybe that's why you try to go to him there in a designed run play. Picks up about 5, so it could work. And that might have to be something the Jumbos have to adapt to, these different quarterback sets, seeing who has the ball.
That's an unfortunate false start right there because Bates went in with an empty look right there. They motioned Linsky out to the left. They had on the right side, number 14, Jake Walters, true freshman, 6'4", one-on-one, pretty much out on an island there with Christian Rosario. So that's a look that you like to see as a quarterback. You like to see your big guy on an island with alone. So no safety help over top either. That's an unfortunate false start for Bates.
That error is going to lose the 5-yard gain that Moore had gotten for them on 1st and 10.
Going right back to the same play, though, it looks like. Seems like this cover 1 man from Tufts again. Looks like they're sending a blitz, though, from the left side.
Bosselate with 5, goes off to his left. That is a completion, small gain, about 6. Ball brought in by number 88, Alex Suni.
Alex Suni, a senior tight end. Little 5-yard out right there. Great pickup by Bosselate. Edge pressure coming off the left side from the Will linebacker. So you usually look to throw to the side of the blitz because that means there are fewer guys coming on in coverage on that left side. So that was a good read there by Bosselate.
Suni, a senior from North Reading, Massachusetts, playing on as close to home turf as you can get.
Indeed.
Another man in motion as this one's handed off to Linsky, going up the middle, staying up alive for a couple of yards after the gain. He'll get the first down, couple extra. Solid run out of the true freshman for the Bobcats.
Yeah, so you just mentioned a couple plays ago, I think you were just saying how many times they're sending guys in motion. They send number 14 there, who I just called out when they went that empty look, Jake Walters. They send him in that orbit motion, send him behind the quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little triple option play there. Option with Linsky, potential pitch to a wide receiver in the orbit motion. Tufts showing a 3-high look here.
3 receivers off the right. Linsky in motion. Going to keep it himself is Bosselate. He'll run up for about 8.
I'm not sure if it looked like a designed QB run, but with Tufts sitting in that deep cover 3 look right there, that's QB run is open all day. Everybody was back. Design QB draw is a perfect play call right there.
Bosselate evading the first tackle attempt made on him. And as he came into contact with the jumbo, pushed through for another 2 yards. Solid run out of him.
Bates showing this tight bunch right set right here with that freshman number 14 heading it. But then they have their 2 big tight ends behind them.
Bosselate looking to push to the end zone. Keeps this one himself. Runs up the middle. Stopped short. Should get the first down.
That's a good read right there by Bosselate. Pulled it, had the edge pressure coming off the left side again. I mean, we're talking about manufacturing your drive. This is how you manufacture a drive right here. This is where we have to be on about play 10 or 11 right now, this drive. And clock's winding, so this is how you neutralize that Jumbo's offense.
Senior Ed Ayuteri with the stop there for the Jumbos.
Another empty look. Tufts loves going cover 1 against this empty look every time, it seems.
Bobcats now in the red zone. We're 100% in the red zone in their previous game against Wesleyan. Going to see a timeout call by the Bobcats. Seems like everybody might not have been on the same page as they were trying to make their first stand in a scoring position.
Yeah, you mentioned last week Bates was 100% in the red zone, a touchdown and a field goal. If you look over on the tough side of the ball, though, they kind of struggled a little bit in the red zone. Went down 28-0 early in the first half to Trinity, so a stop here would be huge for them. But if you're Bates, you have to be pleased with this field position in the red zone already. First quarter on your second drive, really setting the tone with your quarterback and running back duo.
Entirety of the Tufts defense in a huddle with defensive coordinator Justin Manning returning for the Jumbos. It seems as if the defense for the Jumbos is not as prolific as we saw it last week, having 12 quarterback hits against Trinity. And so far, no pressure up the middle so far today.
Yeah, they're really sending a lot of edge pressure so far. I'm not sure what if they plan to send some up the middle, but if you keep sending edge pressure, the quarterback's always going to escape straight up the middle. So you see big number 23 coming off the left side for Tufts. That's Shane Rayner, senior. He's been blitzing almost every single play. Let's see if he does here again. Showing that cover 3 look again.
More motion coming out from the Bobcats. Bossley dropping back, going off to his left. He's looking end zone. He's got Walters.
Ooh.
Throws it just high.
Bossley was a little late on that throw there. He had him if he let go of that ball about 2 seconds earlier. There was a hole in that cover 3. That's the danger with cover 3, right between the flat defender and that deep high safety. There's a little gap right there. Good play call right there. I'd like to see him go back to it again.
Yeah, I mean, they've been going short gains so far this entire drive, taking a stab right there, 20 yards to the end zone. Get your team some points as quarter 1 is rapidly approaching its end. 5 receiver set here for the Bobcats. As I say that, they get Linsky in motion. Bossley looking right up the middle. Not even turning around was Steven Garrett. That ball thrown directly into the back of a Jumbo's DB. Flag thrown on the play, however.
Yeah, threw right into Jameer Alves. I mean, you like to see that ball picked off. Interesting to see that tough switch from the cover 3 look. They just showed it on the last 2 empty sets and moved into that cover 1. But Jameer Alves is usually that robber safety that sits over top. So looked like he was manned up in that space right there. Could have had a huge play right there.
Officials seem to be discussing whether or not there was a flag, what the flag would be if there was. We have multiple flags, it seems. Pass interference going to be called against Jameer Alves. Declined. As a roughing the passer call is also going to come in against the Jumbos.
I missed that roughing the passer call. I didn't see a hit on him. I was, too focused on watching the missed interception. But that kind of explains why he was all over the ball with the PI call on him.
Well, that'll be a huge gain for the Bobcats. Half the distance to the goal puts them 10 yards away, 11, excuse me, from having some points in this game. Bossley looking for his man, hands it off to Linsky instead. Linsky off the left edge, makes Jumbo miss, but gets brought down in the end by Shane Rayner. Talked about how he was blitzing. Came up right there for a good stop.
We talked about earlier, too, getting tackles for losses. That's huge. Tufts last week only had a few tackles for losses. We'd just like to see a few more this week. Bates relying heavy so far in the run game with Bossley and Linsky. Haven't really mixed it up with anybody else coming in.
The run game's gotten them a couple of yards, but right now with they do have a reset of downs available if they make it to the 1 yard line, but you have to imagine if you're there, you're just going to score anyway.
Yep.
So short game can only work for so long before you might have to stare down a field goal. Bossley going to keep this one himself. Look over. He does have a receiver in Garrett. Garrett able to pick up a couple of yards, but not take it to the house.
You saw that little double tight end to the left bunch package. I think they opened the game with that look. That might have been their first or second play of the game, and they handed off left a zone run with Linsky. So it's good to see a little play action and a rollout right there. Tight end slipped in the flat and picked up about, what did you say, 5?
It seems to be a 6-yard gain picked up for Garrett. That's what the scorers have put in. 4 yards away now. Maybe 5 yards. Short gains could work. Could
Tough
try to
showing.
draw a penalty as well.
Tough showing blitz here. Rayner off that left edge again.
Beltran in motion. Bosslate's looking his way. Throws the ball to nobody.
Absolutely nobody. All the routes were, I'm not sure the concept there. It looked like triple slants from a bunch look on the left, and he threw an out. Maybe a little miscommunication in the huddle. Not exactly sure. Looking like they're going to go for 3 here, though.
Well, they were in the red zone. Too early in the game to kind of call to go for it on 4th and goal, especially with miscommunication coming in just a play beforehand. All the receivers coming into the middle of the end zone. Bossley passing out to his left. Instead, we'll see the freshman Marcos Ruiz going for 3. Kick is up. Kick is good.
We were watching him in warm-ups. He was hitting him from 45. He's a big dude. 5'8", 200 pounds. That's inspirational right there. He can swing that leg. He's very flexible. Ruiz
continuing his 100% kicking rate on the season. Now 2 for 2 in field goal tries, also 2 for 2 on PATs.
I like the decision to go for 3 there. You trust in your defense. That's something that's really important that you build with your new guys. You have freshmen and a lot of freshmen, sophomores out there on defense. You show that you trust them. You show that they, especially top offense in the league. You say go out and make a stop for us right now. So let's see how Tufts can answer after a fairly lengthy drive from Bates right there, close to 8 minutes.
Yeah, long drive does get some points for the Bobcats. Not going to be shut out today. Archie Green Jr. set back to kick for the Bobcats. Wind blowing against him. Andre Smith lined up as the furthest back man for the Jumbos. Kick's coming his way. He's going to take this one himself. Picks it up around to the 14-yard line, looking to go right up the middle. Gets taken down at around the 27.
Yeah, Andre Smith was a very solid returner for the Jumbos last year. I believe he was 7th in the NESCAC in return yards. They have him listed as a running back now, so look to see him get some more offensive work as well as special teams.
Jumbos heading out with the usual set, usual suspects making their way onto the field. Richardson, Moore, Reese, Berluti. Whole bunch of guys on the offensive line who we'll name very shortly as Berluti's going to take the ball. Hand it off to Reese. Reese off the right edge. He's got some space. He's going to run. He has the line. Reese taking off. There's one Bobcat in his way, but he jumps over him, hitting the back. Huge gain from Chartelis Reese.
Man, I cannot believe this guy had no carries last year, and now he's coming in and showing off like this. There was a huge question mark at running back for Tufts. It looks like they found their guy in Chartelis Reese. Great design run there. Huge hole opened up, I think, in the C gap, right between the tackle and the outside tight end.
38-yard pickup for Reese. There were some questions you mentioned about who was going to fill that running back spot that was left by Tyler Johnson. Game 1, it kind of seemed like the answer might be nobody. Reese had a couple of carries, but didn't really amount to much. But right there, the legs are moving.
Yeah, last week he had 6.3 yards per carry, though, so that's the big play ability that he's got.
Berluti going to hand this one off again. We got another running back running up, making a couple of Bobcats miss. That'll be another first down pickup, by Khalid Calhoun, the sophomore out of Santa Clarita, California.
Yeah, we don't have too much information on Khalid Calhoun in terms of stats-wise last year, but I like to see them rotating in at running backs, especially after a huge game by Chartelis Reese on the last carry.
Jumbo started this drive with 1:30 on the clock. They're going to go back to Reese. Not going to have a huge pickup there, just a couple of yards. Likely that is going to be the last play of the quarter with only 13 seconds left. Berluti, no intention to go line up, have a play. In fact, he's just going to walk off the field. 1 quarter down, the Jumbo's up 7-3, staring down yet another scoring drive as they are in the red zone. Henry, what have you liked so far about both of these teams' plays?
Well, for the Jumbo's offense, they're definitely taking advantage of this what one might call a weak Bates defense. Definitely inexperienced. You can see a lot of mistakes coming on through the linebackers. They're not filling holes very well. But I will say, per credit of the Bates defense, this is your hardest task that you might face all year outside of Trinity. But in terms of Bates' offense, we talked earlier, time of possession. Really feeding Linsky is what I like to see. You're keeping the ball in his hands, and then you're feeding the ball to your new freshman wide receiver. He's gotten 3 or 4 looks, I think, Jake Walters, on the outside. So I will say, usually when we talk about quick drives, we're referring to passing game, but this has been 3 plays in a minute and a half, all runs, and Jumbos have moved the ball about 60 yards.
Yeah, no time on the clock, basically, at the end of the first quarter, and the Jumbos made one heck of a run out of it. Chartelis Reese kind of coming out of left field, just showing off that he can move, he can run. There's not much more to say. This kid can run.
Absolutely. There was definitely a hole there, though, to fill after Tyler Johnson graduated last year with 800 yards.
2nd and 6, Jumbo's on the 17. Almost made a man flinch. Handing that one off to Reese. Got around the edge. He'll pick up a couple more yards there, just shy of the first down.
There's that yards per carry you see, though. It took about 3 or 4 Bates defenders to take him down, and he fell forward still. So that's a trademark of a stud running back right there.
You know, I have to imagine with the tailgates happening off the edge, hosted by the track team, whether or not their coaching staff is there, taking a look at Chartelis Reese and thinking whether or not this man might have a spot on their team.
I know.
3rd and short. Jumbo's really riding the run game.
Yep, they're in this heavy personnel. They
Berluti
love to run out of it.
Going to hand off to Reese again. Reese going to go off the right side. Taking a couple of jumps, might have picked up the first down. Could be just a little short. Not the best angle for us to see right here. Looks like he probably got it.
Now that's that heavy personnel I just mentioned. They had 6 offensive linemen in there, and number 44, Richie Forelli, linebacker, actually playing almost in a 7th linebacker role, I believe. You know, a good friend of mine, Jaron Cohen, coined the term super jumbo for this package.
Berluti, another handoff to Reese. Reese tackled behind the line to gain. Looks like the ball's come out, though. Reese instead with the pickup. He'll get the first down. Thought the ball might have come out. It was just Reese falling over after making a couple other Bobcats miss.
Well, ball security is a huge question mark in the rain every time, so would not be surprised if we saw that pigskin hit the turf a few times tonight.
So what we just saw there, Henry, was a little bit of aggression. We thought that Reese had picked up the first down on his previous carry. However, did not. That was 4th and extremely short, and the Jumbo's choosing to go for it. Smart play, smart aggression coming out for them. Berluti now with the ball, handoff to Reese again. Reese has the right edge, but gets stopped.
It looks like Berluti is, I don't know if you saw that little, he rolled his fists over, almost signaling like he wants the same play again. I'm not sure if that's what he was asking for, but worth noting, he has 0 passes attempted on this drive still. So I'm wondering if head coach Jay Savetti was out here to set the tone with the run game.
A couple of substitutions coming in. We're going to see some new faces on the field. Perhaps most interestingly of them is the wide receiver currently lined up far to the left. Henry Fleckner, the center fielder for the Jumbo's baseball team, has joined the football program and had a couple of nice catches in the first game against Trinity. Put up 44 yards. Berluti looking his way right now. Instead chooses to go right in front of him to Cade Moore. Cade Moore can't reel that one in. 3rd and goal now for the Jumbos.
I like the look to Cade Moore, but I tell you what, Henry Fleckner had his man beat. And as a center fielder, you know how to run underneath that ball. Give him a fade route in the corner. He'll get underneath there and catch it right in the basket.
Fleckner also one of the more prolific base stealers for that baseball team.
Yeah,
Taken out right now as the Jumbos are going to add some more to the offensive line. Going back to the Super Jumbo.
Super jumbo indeed. Have not passed out of this set yet, so let's see what they look to do here.
Berluti going to keep this one himself. He's looking at Cade Moore. Cade Moore in the back. Cade Moore, does he have it? He does! Cade Moore with his first receiving touchdown of the year puts the Jumbos up by 10, looking to make it 11.
Unbelievable grab by Cade Moore right there. Coming off a career week last week too. Way to keep the momentum going for his season.
Replay coming into you. You can see Berluti looking more the whole way. I mean, Henry, just take a look at that. That's just something beautiful. Ball put perfectly between 2 DBs. Moore going up to almost high point it.
Yeah, you had that safety hawking over top, and honestly, that's the only spot you can put that ball is up and away where only your guy can get it.
Von Seelig looking to cap off the touchdown. Up, through.
There when they're on offense and Bates is on defense, the size differential between the Tufts offensive line and the Bates defensive line, is showing how you can pound the rock right down their throat. They are picking up close to 4.5, 5 yards of carry every single play. If I'm Tufts, I would not move away from that run. As long as Berluti is okay with sharing the spotlight a little bit today with Chartelis Ruiz.
Patrick Walsh, third kickoff attempt of the day. It's 2 for 2 on touchbacks, but now has the wind pushing against him. Kick from Walsh up high. This one's still going to be in play, however. Going to be picked up by not the usual suspects that you see returning the kickoff, not even making it to the last ranks. We're going to take a step aside for a moment, check out some of those new things that we were talking about. Not only do we have a sideline camera, we got a sideline reporter. Z.
Well, guys, this has been an exciting game so far, and I just want to go ahead and mention the Tufts rushing attack so far. In that first quarter alone, we saw only 6 attempts, but 125 yards, averaging 20 yards a carry. That is simply incredible efficiency, especially for this offense. So I just wanted to go ahead and mention that. And the passing offense has been great, too. We ended up seeing that incredible catch earlier. They're pulling all the tricks out of the bag to make this possible tonight, and it's so awesome to see. They're playing so efficiently tonight, and you can't ask for anything better on this homecoming night. Back to you guys.
Line reporter Zachary Miller, Z Millie, JumboCast legend, Rubik's Cube legend, talking about how the Jumbo's rush was working really well. And we're going to see right now if the Bobcats can kind of match that. You know, Linsky is really their star player. He can do just about anything, receiving, rushing. He's an offensive threat for sure. Need to have him start getting rolling.
Yep, they're in that 3-by-1 look right now with a bunch of tight ends set to the right. They love giving it to – well, that was a little read option by Boss Late right there.
Yeah, and a great read by him to keep the ball for himself. Linsky got read like a book in the backfield. If that ball was in Linsky's hand, Bates would have lost about 8 yards. Instead, only 2, as the Jumbo's defense is starting to come alive. It seems like the offense scores and the defense comes out riled up, amped up, ready to get things going. Going to see a jump there. Flag should be thrown.
Nope. I was saying he got back and didn't cross into the neutral zone, I guess. This is where Bates really struggled last week, though, is in the 3rd and long situation. They're in a trips look here, 3-by-1. Let's see what they can come up with.
Bosselate with the ball, taking this one himself. He's run back to the line. Got a couple of Jumbos coming at him. Alv's going to be the one to send him out of bounds.
Really interesting play call there by Bates. It looked like their 2 interior wide receivers either struggled to get off the press or initially just started blocking. But their X receiver all the way on the right was running a streak, and then they really didn't have a ton in the scramble drill to come back for to get a look. It looked like almost a design QB run all the way.
Alv's getting the stop on 3rd down. Going to send the Bobcat punting unit out. Archie Green Jr. Andre Smith set back to return for the Jumbos. Sitting at around the 35-yard line. Botch snap rather. That one is blocked by the Jumbos. Going to be a really, really short one for the Bobcats.
A little extracurricular after the play here at midfield, too.
Ball down at the Bobcat 42. Interesting things coming out off of that play. Low snap. Green not able to pick the ball up. By the time he manages to get it, a Jumbo had burst through the line, had him dead to rights. Kind of a miracle that Archie Green Jr. even got a kickoff in the first place to send that ball about as far as he could.
Talk about putting your body on the line for your team. He knew he was going to take a huge hit and still got it off.
Berluti with the ball. Not going to hand this one off to Reese. He has it himself. He's looking down the field. Richardson wide open. Richardson batted down. Wow. What incredible defense from Jack Morrison. Probably going to get caught for pass interference, but the fact that he denied the ball, denied the touchdown from Jaden Richardson, that was something incredible.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you're okay with giving up a 15-yard flag to stop a 50-yard touchdown. Jaden Richardson just cooked everybody coming off the left side there. Tufts had a dig route running on the right side, sucked one of the safeties in, and Jaden Richardson came over the top on a post route and really just burnt everybody.
had every making of another passing touchdown for Michael Berluti. Last season averaged 3 passing touchdowns a game, already has 1 to his name so far tonight, also has the rushing touchdown. Fantasy Nestcac is going to love calculating this man's points today. Berluti, handoff to Reese. Reese going to cut back to the right, makes a man miss, goes back to the middle, be a short gain of about 3.
Good gang tackling right there by Bates. Had about 6 guys on Chartelis Reese as he barely made it back to the line of scrimmage. It's really hard to send enough pressure at Tufts when you have a connection like Jaden Richardson and Berluti, because you're so worried about getting beat over the top, so you want to keep your safeties deep. But to control the run game, you need strong play from your middle linebackers and your outside linebackers, especially in this 4-3 look right here by Bates.
Berluti going to keep this one for himself. Off to the right side. He's got a wide open man who's going to get the first down. Extra yardage. Going to be stopped by Michael Spencer. The receiver there, I believe, junior tight end Jack Elliott.
Yeah, it looked like it. A little delay from the tight end. Slipped out in the play action. Great way to sell the run by Berluti and Chartelis Reese. This is what happens when you can establish the run game early. Bates is forced to respect your run game, and that just opens the door wide open for your passing game.
Jumbo's in the red zone now, lined up at the 15-yard line.
Looking like a cover 2 shell here from Bates.
Last time the Jumbos were here, sent out a whole bunch of offensive linemen, kept 2 receivers. It was a passing play. This time, however, not going to be the case. Reese off to the right, going to be another short pickup for him, about 4.
Yeah, that was a standard cover 2 look from Bates, and you can run on that all day. Cover 2's pretty good against the run, but with the big boys up front from the Jumbos, you can dominate.
Defensive tackle. Got to clarify, it's the defensive tackle, Kyle Hamilton, not the safety Kyle Hamilton playing for the Baltimore Ravens.
Indeed.
Who made the stop there.
Jordan and I joked of the possibility of Bates possibly subbing in Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens onto this Bates defense to hopefully stop Berluti, but it doesn't look like he's out there tonight.
I think we might have heard about that one long before the game started. Berluti going to hand this one off to Reese again. Reese off the left, going to get absolutely nothing. Brought down by Matthew Michael Acevero.
He's one of those true freshmen that are in the linebacking core. One of the, I believe, 7 underclassmen that are taking over for this Bates defense. He had 6 tackles last week. A new key player for the Bates defense.
Reese going to be taken out. It's the grad student. Typically see him come in defense, but right now it seems like Tufts' running back room is just full of defensive players. Jay-Sean Means in the backfield now. 3 receiver set. Had Fleckner in motion. Berluti going to keep this one himself. He's running on the loose over the right side. He's not going to get the first down. Pushed out of bounds. Acevero again.
So this is something you noticed if you watched last week against Trinity. Trinity, instead of Bates sent their edge rusher so far up, it allowed Berluti to scoot up the middle in that C gap and take off, which is exactly where he thrives, especially going to his right side. But Bates just over-pursued on the edge, kept contained too long and let Berluti get up. But good stop on 4th down there.
Getting the stop, sends out the field goal unit for the Jumbos. Vaughn Seelick back. Going to attempt about a 25-yard try. Seelick's kick is up. Seelick's kick is good. 3 more points on the board for the Jumbos. They've taken a 2-touchdown lead.
That was a perfect kick, perfect hold, perfect snap right there. That's what you like to see. Von Seelick perfect on the day, 2 for 2 on PATs, and now 1 for 1 from the field goal.
Vaughn Seelick was one of the more crucial adds that the Jumbos had last season. Previous years, just the kicking unit has not gotten done what it needed to get done. A lot of missed field goals, a lot of missed PATs. Seelick coming in. Might not be the place kicker in terms of kickoffs, but when it comes to field goals and PATs, Seelick's your man.
I agree. And 17-3 right now. Bates getting shades of last week against Wesleyan, going down 17-0 to start it off. So we'll see if they learn from the similar game script of last week. It's tough when you're down 14 early to keep pounding the rock. You have to sometimes abandon the run and trust your signal caller to sling the rock a bit, but wet conditions, so.
Well, the good news for Bates is the rain has taken a pause. Hopefully I don't will it back into existence. But the wind is still kicking up. The last time that we saw Patrick Walsh kick off, couldn't get the ball far enough, didn't even make it to the back ranks of this return unit. So could be staring down a shorter field. Walsh making the adjustments necessary. This one's going to go all the way back. That one taken in by Stephen Lardy, cutting off to his left. Balls come out. Balls come out. No, I take it back. I take it back. The ball did not come out. Looked like it might have. It's just so many bodies hitting the floor, sliding everywhere on the wet turf. Kind of makes you think that means the ball came out. Someone's making a diving play.
I thought it came out as well, but I guess it looked like Jay Sean Means had just slipped, I think. Just good gang tackling there by the Jumbos.
Well, it's a somewhat shorter field than what you would have had if Jack Walsh managed to get a touchback. 3 extra yards could be the difference maker. Who knows? We'll see how this drive pans out. 6 minutes on the clock. The scoring drive took 8 minutes for the Bobcats. See what they go for here. Bossaletti going to keep this one. Oh, Bossalate, excuse me, handing that one off. It's a couple of yard pickup.
If you don't test this Tufts defense in the cover 1 look, they're going to sit in the 3-4 all day, setting pressure outside and inside via their linebackers. You gotta throw the ball a little bit to open up your run game.
Starting off this drive without Linsky in the set. That handoff was given to Jack Morale.
Let's see if the junior running back has the same type of pop that freshman Linsky does.
Bossalate still in at quarterback. Takes this one. Hands this one off to Morale. He's got the left edge. He's going to keep going. Got the first down.
Great lead blocking out there on the left. Way to seal the edge. I think that was, I believe, the tight end that sort of used the kick block and kicked out the outside backer. Good play to stay on schedule. If you're going to run the ball, I guess 10 yards of carry is what you'll take. But
it seems like they got 2 different styles of running back. Linsky definitely favoring those draws up the middle versus Morale, who's using those edges to his advantage.
I mean, if you look at Morale's frame, he's 6'1", 195, so he's a quicker dude, a little more slender than Linsky, so it makes sense to get him on the outside.
Another option handed up to Morale, stopped up the middle very quickly by Will Duncanson. Only going to be a small gain, about 2.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a trap run right there up the middle, but regardless of what type of run it was, there was nothing there. Not a lot of space. These inside linebackers for Tufts are doing a really good job right now, stopping the run up the middle.
Bobcats taking their sweet time with these plays. Clock's winding down, just under 4:30 left in the half. Going to have to wonder if at any point they attempt a passing play. More motion coming in for the Bobcats. Bosley keeping this one himself. He's going to run. He's going up the middle. Makes a man miss. Good step move from him there. Brought down just shy of the yard to gain, but the pile's going to push him all the way through.
You know what? I don't
talk about grit.
I think that was Seneca Moore, their backup freshman quarterback, in for Bossalate on this one play. We have to, so far when Seneca Moore has been in.
Not having a whole lot of work in this drive. This one, another handoff to Morale. Brought down behind the line. Excuse me. Bossalate kept it himself. Had me fooled.
That was a great read action play. Really held the mesh point a long time. As long enough to fool my co-commentator Jordan Burke into thinking that Morale had the ball. But good little spin move for Bossalate to break out of the grip of the edge rusher and get the first down.
A combination of just a great read option there from Bossalate. Did not help that Michael Butler absolutely shot up the gap and took down someone without the ball.
Yeah.
Was convinced he had the read before I did. More motion coming in. Confusion behind the line, but somehow the ball gets handed over to Sergio Beltran. He's going to gain absolutely nothing, though. Running into the quarterback, definitely costly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was confusion on if he was supposed to go in front of the line or behind the line of scrimmage. I assume, that looked like almost they were trying to do one of those Kansas City Chiefs touch pass with the quarterback to the wide receiver, but not exactly sure what happened right there.
Beltran going to kick his way all the way out now. Still no Linsky this entire drive. Have to wonder how this changes the entire offensive scheme for the Bobcats. Bossley, another RPO, keeping this one himself. He'll just have to throw it away as too many jumbos got through.
That looked like a miscommunication there between Bossley and Sergio Beltran. Beltran was blocking out there downfield, but Bossley was looking to pass him. Tufts was playing in an off-man look. Their DBs were sitting about 5 yards off. You can tell it's man. They're staring down the wide receivers. Usually the token for zone is the DBs will turn their head in and look at the quarterback. But Beltran was just the whole time run blocking there as a wide receiver, so I'm not sure. Again, that's 2 plays in a row with confusion on the Bates side.
3rd and long in the wee minutes of the first half. Minute 26 left on the clock. Bobcats looks like they're going to take a timeout.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smart idea after 2 plays straight of confusion. Get everyone a breather, get the coach in there to talk to you without having to relay signals in via hand.
Yeah, it seemed like they were bringing in a new receiving core, it seemed. 2 different receivers making their way in. 3rd and long, have to imagine it's a passing situation regardless. However, with the way that they've just been hammering the ground game, never really know.
Yeah, Bossley has a good arm too. Would like to see him let loose a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he had a picture-perfect pass in the end zone when he was trying to get the ball to Walters, and since then we haven't really seen like any flash of a cannon at all.
And to be honest, I'm not really sure what's caused them to go away from it, because Tufts hasn't really been changing up their defensive look a ton. It's very similar looks to what they got on that one play that you just referred to. So I'd like to see him come back to it. Yeah, well, here they're going with an empty look, so certainly a passing down unless it's a design QB draw, which would be extremely bold.
Bossley did have a similar situation the last time he was up. No receivers in line for him. The last big run that we saw out of him did pick up 8. Has to do a little bit more if he decides to keep it himself. But with 5 receiving options, and now morale in motion, might go over his way. Bossley's looking deep. He's going deep indeed. It's Beltran wide open. He'll bring that one in just shy of the goal line. What a catch.
That's an unbelievable play, and what a read by Bossley right there. You had cover 2 with almost no safety help over top. You trust your speedy wide receiver Beltran to beat his man, and he did just that. He stacked him right away. Pretty much 7 yards after the line of scrimmage, he got right on top of the DB. Had nothing but green grass in front of him. Perfect ball, perfect catch. That's exactly how he draw it up, and we were just talking about why would they go away from those little balls right over the Tufts DB's heads that they saw success on earlier. And good to see him come back to it. I assume, if I was a betting man, that a run play is coming.
Under a minute left on the clock. Bossley can keep this one himself. Going to the left, and that's a touchdown. Sergio Beltran just turned back, brought that one in. Put up 6 for the Bobcats.
Tell you what, good thing I'm not a betting man, because I would have been wrong right there. That's an incredible back shoulder throw by Bossley, and this is the arm talent that we were talking about. He has real arm talent. Good to see the Bates offensive coordinator dialing in some plays to really show that off.
Bobcat offense bringing this back within 1 score as we're about to head into halftime. Looking to make that a normal 1 score without any 2-point conversions happening. Ruiz kicks up, kicks through. Now it's right back where we were just 6 minutes ago. It was a long drive, but it nets points. It's your first touchdown of the game for the Bobcats, and it's a great precedent to have going into halftime. You just can't let up yards here.
Yep. 2 great back-to-back passes to Beltran. The deep ball for 30-plus yards and then a back shoulder touchdown grab. That really boosts morale going into the halftime with only 48 seconds left on the clock. Right now, Bates has the momentum. It is worth noting, though, that Bates does get the ball at the half. The Jumbos get the ball at half. So a stop right here by Bates on defense is crucial. If you let Tufts score here and then come out of the half and score again, you're really putting yourself in a terrible situation to get back in this ballgame.
With 48 seconds, the Jumbos essentially are just playing 2 back-to-back possessions, as you noted, with getting the ball back after half.
You have to imagine they'd get aggressive here. It's really a time that they can capitalize. 48 seconds, you have a quarterback who can let loose. You run the spread looks all the time. It's your bread and butter. You have Jaden Richardson who can get over the top. I'd say you air one out here. There's really no harm, no foul.
Ruiz going to line himself up, for the kickoff. Andre Smith back for the Jumbos. Really just a champion of the return field is Smith.
Indeed. They have him listed as the starting running back, but he hasn't gotten any snaps back there yet.
Ruiz keeping this one out of the end zone. Smith's going to get his chance. Cutting off to the left. He's got a couple of blockers. He's making men miss. Gets up to about the 26-yard line. Solid return out of Andre Smith.
Some shifty juke moves right there by Andre Smith. Good start to the drive. You know, that gets the troops buzzing a little bit. Offense always likes to see a return man put on a little bit of a show before you get out there. Helps get the gets the boys going before they go out.
Jumbo's changing things up a little bit in terms of the offense coming out right off the back. We're seeing some new running backs. We're seeing Andre Smith actually tag right back in. After a good return, yeah, sure, give him a snap. Why not?
Why not?
Although with 41 seconds, the Jumbos do have timeouts. They could go back to him. Berluti going to drop back, however, going up the middle. Throws right at the line. That's Fleckner. Catch and running, kicking up a couple extra yards after the catch, just shy of midfield.
Great dig route there by Fleckner. They had 2 dig routes coming in from the left side out of that trip set, and Berluti rolled a little bit to his right side. That's perfect. You love to have your receivers making in cuts towards your throwing side.
Tufts using their fastest receiving set, Fleckner, Richardson, and more. This one not going to go to any of those 3, however, as a first down and then some is picked up by Ryan Doyle.
Little out and up concept right there, and you had your wide receiver Ryan Doyle run a what looked like a flat route or an underneath to get open underneath under the DBs, hence the name of the underneath route.
Looks like the Jumbos are going to be taking a timeout here. Doyle in the game against Trinity did have a couple of receptions, picked up 34 yards in that game, 17 yards per catch if you're doing some quick maths, and going right back to it there. Picked up, I actually think that was exactly 17.
Now if you're Bates here, the ball's already on the 40. Van Selleck has a bit of a leg. Although I will be interested to see who they send out to kick the field goal, if it comes to that, because the Tufts loves to confuse us up in the booth with who they're going to send out at kicker or punter, honestly.
Well, if it comes to it, no more extra yards for the Jumbos. They're looking at a 58-yard field goal attempt. That's looking more Patrick Walsh territory to me.
I was going to say Justin Tucker, but if Patrick Walsh can
we
do it.
didn't get to 60.
Well, with 19 seconds left on the clock and still, I believe, 2 timeouts for Tufts. You're looking at least 4 more plays if they can get out of bounds.
We do see the freshman kicker, Caden Lawler, stretching out in the event that his name is called. Probably going to be a passing play. As I said, it is Berluti. He's looking short off to the right. Heading out of bounds is Doyle, just shy of the first down mark.
Yep, they had the inside receivers run a little seam route there with an out route from the outside wide receivers. Pulls the DB off the receiver and had an open look on the sideline there. 6
seconds, 8 yards for the Jumbo offense. Looking to capitalize. Maybe putting into the end zone on this shot. Berluti definitely looking deep. All the receivers going there. Going to go up the middle instead. It's Cade Moore. Cade Moore off to the right side, getting out of bounds. 6 seconds left on the clock after a huge pickup. The Jumbos have an end zone shot, and then a little bit more time to kick the field goal if needed.
Yep. That's that cover 3 look from Bates. That's the problem when you sit off and you only rush 3. With a quarterback like Berluti, he's going to pick apart your zone, especially with so much time to sit right there. And Cade Moore found a gap in between the linebacker and the safety, right in the hole of the cover 3. That's where that hole is in the cover 3, is between the 2 safeties. So perfect play from Cade Moore there to get open.
Tufts going to take another timeout. I wonder if this conversation is about whether or not 6 seconds is enough time to have an end zone shot. 15 yards out, 6 seconds. You know, it was a 6-second play just a couple ago to get an 8-yard gain for Doyle. That ends the quarter without a scoring chance. Do you just take the 6 seconds here and kick a field goal?
I think being up 7 and knowing how prolific your offense is, you got to take a shot. You got 6 seconds. Berluti can take a quick drop, like a one-step drop, and throw up a fade. You got fast receivers like Jaden Richardson who don't need 6 seconds to run 10 yards to get in the end zone. So I have to imagine they're going to – I'd like to see him go aggressive here.
Now, if you're Bates, you do have a whole lot of speed for the Jumbo's receiving core. We mentioned Fleckner, ridiculously fast. Jaden Richardson, even faster.
Yep.
If you're sitting there, if you are trying to coach these DBs and what the game plan is, Are you saying you need to go man coverage? Are you saying you got to play a zone and just try and stop the score? What's the idea
I think
here?
with so many young guys out here, you got to play zone. Man is too tricky for them, especially you can't man up Jaden Richardson right now in the zone. With a freshman or sophomore DB on him, that's too much of a task.
Richardson and Moore to the left, Fleckner off to Berluti's right.
They have a cover 3 shell out here in the spread look, so look for them to dot up the zone.
Berluti taking a couple of steps back. All 6 seconds going to be used. He's got Fleckner in the back. Fleckner, did he get down? No, he did not.
Real close. I mean, that's...
Wow. Back corner of the end zone, going for Fleckner. Fleckner for his first career collegiate touchdown. Just couldn't get there. Had the ball in, just not in. You were right, though. Didn't take a whole lot of time. Only 3 seconds off of the clock.
Yeah, I'm surprised that was only 3 seconds. It felt maybe longer in real life. That ball was up in the air for so long. Trying to drop it in the bucket in the back corner of the end zone, that's a really tough throw. Just a hair too long.
The correction has been made. Only 1 second. And at about a PAT distance, Von Seelick will get a chance at a field goal. Looking to put up 3 for the Jumbos. His kick is up. His kick is through. It'll be 3 more, and the Jumbos will end the half 20-10 over the Bates Bobcats.
Ideally, you know, Bates lets up no points there, but if you're going to let up points, a field goal is exactly what you want to do. Only down 10 going into the half. You have to consider that a win for Bates.
With 10-point lead, the Jumbos definitely have, momentum in their favor. They just had a scoring drive. They're going to come out of the half with the ball again. We're going to take a step aside for halftime, but don't go too far. Come back in about 3 or so minutes. We got yet another surprise for you guys.
Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Well, it may be raining, but it's still a packed Bello Fields here at the it may be raining, but it's still a packed stands here at the Ellis Oval for this very exciting homecoming matchup between the Tufts Jumbos and the Bates Bobcats. Tufts lead by 10 after a comeback late in the second half by the Bobcats. Very exciting game, and we're here to break it all down. Hello, my name is Felix Bhattacharya. Welcome you to the very first edition of the Jumbo Zone here on JumboCast. Joined today by Zachary Miller. Zach, how you doing today?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me on. And honestly, this has been an incredible game so far. Tufts leading 20-10 at halftime. And Tufts at the beginning, they took the saddle and ran with it. Literally. A 61-yard rushing touchdown to start things off today. From Michael Berluti, and we're going to run that replay right now. You can see that they played an option play and got him off to the left side, and he just had wide open room to run, Felix. You can see that he had no one in front of him and was able to skirt into the end zone untouched, 61 yards to put the Tufts Jumbos up 7-0 to start.
Well, an incredible run by Berluti there, and overall, he's been having a phenomenal game so far. What's the impact that he's been having on this matchup overall?
Well, he's been being really efficient on the ground and in the air. He's been completing well today. He's had 7 for 10 for 94 and a touchdown to Cade Moore, which was kind of a more improbable reception, bobbling and getting it down right to start off the beginning of the second. And honestly, he's just been really, really important to this Jumbo's offense, and he showed that last year as well.
Yes, I mean, Berluti's been starting since his freshman year, and you can clearly see the crowd is riled up, ready to go and ready to play. I mean, talk about Bates. What's been holding them back, and how did they come back at the end of that second half?
Well, we saw that first drive. It took nearly 7 minutes and 30 seconds for them to get into the red zone just to settle for a field goal. It's been kind of rough for them trying to get into scoring position. They've had 4 drives, and 2 of them, one of them resulting in a field goal, and one of them a little bit better right at the end. They've mainly been trying to do more methodical to try to get the time off the clock and them to keep the ball for as long as possible to prevent this really efficient Tufts offense from scoring. And it's been working somewhat. They ended up getting a touchdown right at the end of the second quarter. But we've seen that not work out somehow for some of the plays, where they ended up going 3 and out on 2 drives.
So what's holding them back? What does Bates have to do to come back in this ballgame?
Honestly, just be more efficient with the ball. Try to call better plays, get the ball moving. Using that rushing attack has been helpful, but they also need to be better in the air. They've only had 5 completions for 73 yards, which has been just as efficient, but they probably should be trying to go towards the pass more often.
Well, Zach, I mean, overall, let's talk about these 2 teams head to head. What is the big thing that you've seen between the Jumbos and the Bobcats? What's the difference there? What do the Bobcats have to focus on, and what have the Jumbos been doing right?
Well, the Jumbos, like I said, have been really efficient both on the ground and passing. We saw that last drive where they managed to get another 3 points to the board right at the end in only 40 seconds. They moved the ball down 67 yards on only 6 plays. It was incredible.
Jumbos absolutely have been aggressive on all fields so far. Talk about the rest of the NESCAC. It's been an exciting day every single throughout the entire field in the NESCAC. What have you seen there?
Yeah, so we saw earlier Amherst take on Hamilton in New York, and Amherst ended up taking the win 17-14. Elsewhere, we saw a matchup in Williamstown between Bowdoin and Williams, where Bowdoin came in and steamrolled them 20-0. Trinity continuing their run in the NESCAC, 48-7 over Colby, and Wesleyan taking Middlebury down 24-21 in a close match.
Well, I mean, Trinity, talk about a team right there defeating Tufts last week. Clearly the front runners to win the NESCAC right now.
For sure.
So talk to us a little bit more about those rushing plays right now. What have the Jumbos been doing right?
Well, they've been getting into space and they've been breaking out. They've been blocking really well. That's been the main thing. Whenever you're rushing, you want to get as many yards as possible. You need to be blocking. That's what they're doing right.
And when you're talking about rushing, the O-line is also critical. Is that what the Jumbos have been focusing on?
Yeah, they've been really focusing on that and making the holes, and it's just been working out right.
Well, Zach, it's been an incredible game so far. It might be getting chilly out here, but the fans are most certainly still out here. One of the most packed Jumbos games that I've seen so far. So I can't wait for the second half. We have a very, very exciting interview coming up. President Sunil Kumar will be joining us in a second. So we'll be right back here on the Jumbo Zone.
So hypnotic, magical.
So in this minute, the questions that I'll be asking you is talking about favorite part of homecoming and favorite part of Tufts so far. What has your experience been coming in here? We're going to talk about the first pitch at the Red Sox game. Then I have some quick questions for you, like DeWick or Carm, favorite building. These are just questions that we ask
Come off
people.
that field, you look each other in the damn eyes, and you know you left it all out there for them. That's all that matters. This team right here, right now.
Yeah. We have to, because we have to be off the field in 8 minutes. That's What's that? I got this. Well, welcome back to the Jumbo Zone here on JumboCast, and we are incredibly excited to be joined by the 14th president of Tufts University, President Sunil Kumar. First of all, on behalf of JumboCast and the Jumbo community, welcome to Tufts.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Sir, what has the experience coming into Tufts been like? How is this homecoming experience for you?
Everybody's been so warm. The best part of homecoming is to run into all the students. We're having a great time, so couldn't be better.
Absolutely. I mean, we have Jumbo running around, the students packed, everything going up. Well, we saw the other day that you might be an athlete yourself, the first pitch at the Red Sox game. I was just wondering, what was the experience getting ready for that first pitch like?
Well, the baseball coach didn't want me and I managed to turn in a blistering 60-mile-an-hour fastball. So,
Phenomenal.
At my age, that's not so bad.
I believe we have a video of that as well, which should be playing in the background. Did you grow up playing any sports at home?
Yes, I played cricket growing up, and I played a little bit of intramural softball.
Amazing.
And where I played third base, and I still remember some of it.
So that must have translated well over into baseball.
Kinda.
The cricket and baseball experience must be very, very different. So, sir, here at JumboCast, we love to talk to athletes every once in a while and just do some very fast questions with them. So if you don't mind, I'll just ask you some quick questions, and whatever comes straight to your head, blurt it out. So the most important question for the Tufts community, especially amongst students, is sort of this debate between uphill and downhill. It's a big rivalry amongst us. So I have to ask you, are you Team DeWick or Team Carmichael?
So I live in Gifford House, which is halfway up the hill. So I like them both. It depends on what's cooking. So I go by the menu.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite building here on campus?
Yeah, I like the JCC, the Cummings Center.
It's
Nice.
beautiful.
It is a beautiful building.
Absolutely. Well, if you could attend Tufts back in the day, is there a specific major that you would have liked to study here?
Yep, electrical engineering. Nobody accused me of being, imaginative. I like doing what I've done for the last 30 years.
And just from walking around and seeing the different buildings, is there a dorm that really sticks out to you? Or do you think all of them are very nice?
I think the best dorm will be the one we're about to build.
Oh.
So we'll build another one.
Well,
so we'll see how
exciting
that
news
comes out.
here from the Jumbos. So just to wrap this up, thank you first of all for joining us here today. But if you have a message to the entire Jumbo community, we have a few hundred people watching us here today, fans in the background. What would be your message to them?
Don't forget to have fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this homecoming, and be sure to look into all the information about the inauguration coming up very, very soon. And welcome to Tufts, and back to you guys back in the studio.
So hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back inside the booth. Jordan Burke, Henry Burns back at it again. About to head into the third quarter. Just quick recap as to how we got where we are right now. Jumbo's up 20-10. Just ended a drive with a field goal. About to get the ball back, heading into quarter number 3. It's kind of seemed like it's been a little bit of a one-sided game almost, Henry. Kind of talk me through it. You got a stat sheet in front of you. What are we seeing on paper that seems to be the difference in this game?
Well, I'm looking down on the stat sheet, and I can see pretty much Tufts almost doubles up Bates in the rushing category. A lot of that comes off of Berluti's long run of 61 yards on that long touchdown run. But Chartelis Reese also has 66 yards off of 12 carries, averaging 5.5 a pop. So Tufts is really taking control of the ground game, like we mentioned in the pregame show. Keys of the game was attack the run. It was establish the run. They've done exactly that in the first half. It's interesting though that Bates being down the whole game, they only have 10 attempted passes. You have to imagine that's going to increase in the second half. Bosselate, I keep harping on it. He can sling it. Got to let him throw it. So get the ball to Sergio Beltran, though, also as well. On that long 40-yard completion, he's got 46 yards on the day with a touchdown. So we'll see how that continues.
About to get underway, Marcos Ruiz, kicker for the Bobcats, is back, ready to get things going. Andre Smith, we saw have a 23-yard return the last time he got the ball. Right there, getting it at the 2, moving forward off to the right side. He's continuing to move, broke a couple of tackles. Andre Smith was almost free. Wow.
He has breakaway speed. It is unreal, his lateral quickness right there on that return.
Yeah, massive tackle coming in from Ryan Gleason, the freshman wide receiver for the Bobcats, coming out in the special teams unit and just saved his team from what would have been the worst start imaginable coming out of half.
You talk about worst starts imaginable, another worst start imaginable. We have Tufts come down and score on this drive for Bates. That would be a huge momentum killer.
Only slightly worse than if they came out and had a 0-play scoring drive as Andre Smith had it. Berluti dropping back. He's looking deep. Hurling one up. He's got Cade Moore right along the left side. Couldn't get him.
That was a classic concept right there with an out in a corner. Richardson ran that 5-yard out with Cade Moore coming over top on the 10-yard corner. Berluti had him on the corner. I believe it looked like Bates was playing a cover 3 look, so that was the right read. But
Jumbo's coming out of half with that speedy trio, Fleckner, Moore, and Richardson. Going to change things up a bit right now. Going back to the Super Jumbo.
Yeah, it looks like the Super Jumbo. Shout out Jared Cohen.
Reese flipping sides, going right to left. He'll take the handoff from Berluti. Going to go right up the middle, making a bunch of men miss. Nobody gets him until he gets to around the 35-yard line. Brought down by, I believe, Acevero.
I would have to say Chartelis Reese was probably one of the stars of the first half of the Jumbo's offense. There's that 5.5 yards per carry I mentioned briefly before. He's explosive, and he's running up the middle real well.
3rd and 3 in the Jumbo's opening drive of the second half. Berluti going to look to the sidelines, try and get the play call. He's got 2 wide receivers to his right, Jaden Richardson on his left.
Bates with an interesting look here. They have
design run. Berluti going to keep it himself, breaking off the right edge. He's going to get up, get that first down.
That was an interesting look by Bates right there. They had freshman Matthew Michael Acevero almost playing in what looked like a linebacker role, but I think he was manned up on the running back, essentially spying the running back and quarterback situation. It was a cover 2 shell, but he was playing about 2 yards deeper than the rest of the linebackers. It looked a little off, but he helped in there on the tackle. So
first down for the Jumbos on their own 39. Berluti has Moore in the slot. Instead, hands it off to Chartelis Reese. Going to cut across the left. He's free. He's running. Chartelis Reese at the 40-yard line on the left side. Going to be brought down around the 28-yard line by Michael Spencer.
Tell you what, Chartelis Reese owes his linemen a dinner after this game. There were that hole, you could drive a bus through there. Not much work needed to be done by Reese. He had his explosive speed, but my goodness, I think Jordan and I could have ran through that hole together.
Yeah, I mean, this offensive line for the Jumbos just returning so many players. They got some new guys getting a lot more snap percentage share in there, like Gus Bickert getting some time in his senior year, but you also had two very key components returning in Travis Sepalia and Blair Horning, grad students who've been a part of this offensive line that made them so prolific last year in the run game and given Berluti all the time in the world. As Reese will cut off to the right side, gain of about 5.
Yeah, you talk about returning lineman, Travis Sepalia, grad student, Division III All-American last year. That's a huge returning lineman for the Jumbos. Really instills confidence in the run game and the pass game, and Berluti is very familiar with him now playing in his 3rd year with Sepalia.
Matt Juneau with the stop there for the Bobcats, bringing up a 2nd and 8. Jumbos on the opposing 23, looking to make that push into the red zone. Berluti going to keep this one himself. Look to the left. Fleckner, route almost jumped. Going to be a short gain for the junior wide receiver.
Had Cade Moore on what looked like a corner route, but good safe pass right there to Henry Fleckner on a little, it looked like a 5-yard hitch. Just great quick game concept by Berluti. I'm pretty sure he knew right away he was going there based off of his pre-snap read. Defender had some space. That was there all day.
5-yard hitch exactly. 3rd and 3 now. Berluti keeping this one to himself, rolling out to his right, going up the middle. He's got Moore. Moore with the first down, going to take that one to the 8-yard line. Put the Jumbos just inches away from scoring.
That was an excellent play by Berluti right there. His first option, which was that tight end leak that we saw earlier, going into the same, almost exact same situation. I bet they dialed up the same exact play. Tight end leak was covered by the linebacker. Looked to his second option, Cade Moore coming across on like a 10-yard drag. Hit him in stride while Berluti took a beating himself.
Cade Moore, the leading receiver for the Jumbos, 27 yards receiving plus the 5 after the catch. Also has that touchdown. He's been the wide receiver of choice for Berluti today. Jaden Richardson hasn't had his name called all that much. Berluti keeping this one, going off to the left. He's got space. Berluti up the middle. He's in. Michael Berluti, 2nd rushing touchdown.
Man, he can fly off the edge like that. Almost untouched right into the end zone.
The lights are flashing. The fans are roaring. The cheer team is cheering. Everything is coming up Bows during this homecoming night. 26-10. Scoring drive right out of half.
It looked like Bates was in some sort of man set. At least they had 2 over the top of Jaden Richardson on the left there. Are they saying? Oh, it's called back from a hold.
Interesting. Kind of hard to see when the flag's thrown if the lights keep coming, flashing on and off.
Yeah, can't see anything.
Apologies on missing that one, but hold was called against the Jumbos. Touchdown going to come back. Berluti not going to get that 6-point bonus, not only for the Jumbos, but his fantasy score as well. Shout out to the creators of Fantasy NESCAC. We've been talking about doing that on JumboCast for a while. Someone actually got it done. Very nice work. Berluti now dropping back, looking right across the side, almost hit his receiver Burton in stride. Would have had the ability to turn up, just couldn't get the ball.
CJ Burton was wide open on that little 5-yard drag right in front of the linebackers. Nobody saw him coming. Would have almost walked untouched into the end zone. I think he had one man to beat.
Well, after the hold and after the incomplete pass, the Jumbos finding themselves 2nd and 17. Remember, they were within the 10-yard line before that hold was called, so they do not get a reset of downs. 17 yards to go.
Yeah, looking like a cover 2 shell here from Bates. Wouldn't be surprised if they test Richardson on a little something to the corner of the end zone.
Berluti dropping back and a roll off to his left. He's got some space. Fakes the throw, picking up a solid amount. Going to make a huge dent in that 17 yards to gain. Pick up about 9.
Yeah, it looked like that. You saw Jaden Richardson put his hands up in the end zone while Berluti was scrambling to his left right there. He blew by his guy. Sort of covered this in the prep, but Berluti does struggle throwing to his left side when he's forced out of the pocket. That's something Trinity did really well last week. They would shoot their edge pressure coming off his right side, so he's forced to roll to his left, make the throws going across his body. As a right-handed thrower, it's really difficult to roll out to your left and throw.
If I'm seeing things correctly, I'm seeing senior quarterback Matt Crowley in the backfield with Michael Berluti. Seems like he's blocking, not doing a whole lot more. Going off to his right, Berluti trying to hit Fleckner in the end zone. Pass broken up by the Bobcats.
Berluti kind of forced it in there. That was triple coverage right there. You were right about Matt Crowley in the backfield. And when we were up here prepping earlier at like 4 o'clock, I saw Crowley running some angle routes out of the backfield with one of the backup quarterbacks for Tufts. I didn't think that was serious. I thought that was, I don't know if he was just going through the motions, but I guess they've instilled a new package with Crowley. He is a senior, so get him some looks with Berluti's pretty much locked up the job.
Von Seelig, kick for 3. He's going to put that one up and in. Might not have been a touchdown, but the Jumbos do get points.
Yep, you're right. The Jumbos do get 3 points right there, but that's a small win for Bates. That's back-to-back possessions now that Tufts has been stopped in the red zone and had to put up a field goal instead of touchdown. That's 14 versus 6 points. That Bates, that's a, if my math is correct, I believe that's an 8-point swing.
That's a full touchdown plus difference that the Bobcats have found themselves with, keeping it to a 2-score game. Their offense might not have looked the best towards the end of the half, but it is definitely, still working in a sense. The run game was definitely working when they made that swap from Linsky to Morrell. He was able to pick up a good amount of yards, get the ball down the field, just not far enough.
Yeah, Morrell came in and had 4 carries for 21 yards to Ryan Linsky's 6 for 25. I will say Morrell's also he's got a little bit more pop to him, 5.2 a carry instead of Linsky's 4. But Linsky was the guy last week who they relied on heavily. So I'm interested to see when the going gets tough, whose hands the ball gets into here.
Kickoff from Patrick Walsh. This one's going to stay inside, not finding the back again. It'll be the same pickup from who I believe was Stephen Garrett. Not going to pick up a whole lot there.
This is a make or break drive for Bates. You have to come away with points. A field goal it would be okay, but a touchdown keeps you on schedule to come back into this game. 9:55 left in the third quarter. There's a ton of time. Let's see Boston Late start slinging the rock a little bit.
Boston Late this season does only have the 1 passing touchdown. Hasn't found a whole lot of success in the red zone. The team has, but the passing game has not really worked so well for them there. Boston Late handing that one off. It looks like Linsky's back in, breaking a whole bunch of tackles for a pickup of about 3 or 4.
Yeah, that was a pretty run by Linsky. He's a hard-nosed runner. Knows how to evade tackles. He's slipping through the linebackers, the second-level tackles. It was an interesting set right there by Bates. I think they had a stack on the far left side. I'm not sure if that was just to drag defensive backs away from where the inevitable run was coming.
Continuing with their RPO game seems to be the idea for the Bobcats, not taking Linsky out of the backfield anyway. That was almost a direct snap to Linsky. Good spin move coming out by Bosselate, just not able to amount anything. Broke the first tackle, but Jameer Alves was there all the way.
Yeah, Tufts was all over that. Linebackers filled the holes real well, and Alves came over the top for the nice tackle.
As you can see, the crowd here tonight absolutely amped up. So many bodies in the field right now. I mean, it's homecoming.
It is homecoming. It's rainy, too. Great support from the fellow Jumbo students.
3rd and 9. Bobcats drive has not really amounted to anything.
Yep, 3rd and long. Tufts is looking at a cover 1 man press look, it seems.
Bosselate navigating his receivers, covering routes. Going to move Linsky over to his left. And it seems as if there's been a delay of game. That'll move the ball back 5 yards. Go from a 3rd and long that was already very difficult to manage for the Bobcats as they have not gone to that passing game. Wouldn't be surprised if they come out right now empty.
Yeah, that's a great call, Jordan. I was going to say the same thing. Empty seems to be what's successful for them in the passing game. It really spreads out that Tufts defensive, especially if they go for the cover 1 look. That safety over the middle of the field is in such a bind if you're in empty. There are way too many receivers out there for him to play that traditional robber role.
Instead, they'll keep Linsky in the backfield. Bosselate with the ball, got some time. He's got a jumbo behind him, didn't see him. Going down the field, trying to get the ball to Beltran, but it's picked off. That's Lewis Timmons' first interception of the season.
Absolutely great play right there. It looked like what a play by Tufts defense. Looked like 3 verticals for Bates as their ex-wide receiver ran a little bit of a hitch. Didn't really have anybody that almost acted as a pseudo punt for Bates on 3rd down, but at this point, it's a little bit desperate measures for Bates.
Interception by Timmons, absolutely huge. Bosselate trying to get the ball to Beltran, who's really been the only receiving threat that we have seen so far today from the Bobcats. Just too many jumbos in his way, throws it into the hands of Timmons. Timmons with a great catch.
Yeah, and Timmons had 4 interceptions last year and 2 tackles for loss. He was in a NESCAC first team. I mean, he's a heck of a player for the Jumbos. Great returning guy to have back.
Interception coming in at around the 49-yard line. So the Jumbos with the short field, already in opposing territory. Going to look to amend the wrongs of the hold and score a touchdown.
Yeah, a touchdown here would put this game well in the hands of Tufts. Going up 20 would be huge.
Berluti and Reese in the backfield. Reese going to block. Berluti, he's got some men deep. He's going. He found Cade Moore. Cade Moore just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, it looked like a little 10-yard out by Cade Moore. Good read by Berluti, but a little bit over high and outside for Cade Moore. Love to see him targeting Cade Moore more, though. Cade Moore more. But it's really a great 1-2 punch with Jaden Richardson and Cade Moore. It's very difficult, puts the DBs in such a bind to have to cover 2 excellent wide receivers.
2nd and 10, ball on the 47. Berluti trying to throw the ball more. As we said, only 10 passing attempts before this, but he'll hand this one off to Reese. Reese up the gut, has the first down and more. Reese, with only 1 man in his way, can't get over him. Tried the hurdle, brought down by Spencer. That one safety yet again has been stopping Chartelis Reese from getting the ball home.
That's a last-ditch effort right there. You saw, I believe that was number 2, Acevero, dive at the legs of Chartelis Reese.
Berluti quick off to the left. He's got Cade Moore. Cade Moore just going to run straight from there. Pickup of about 5 before being taken down by Acevero.
Yeah, that's a great quick concept. Way to run the hurry-up offense. Fleckner out there blocking for Cade Moore on a screen.
I clearly need to get my eyes checked. I've been wrong by about 3 yards on every single gain so far. My bad. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2. Short yard pickups right now. Are you thinking this is Reese's ball?
I'd say you got to give him at least one chance to punch it in after that huge run.
Berluti fakes the handoff. Oh, I lied. He gave it fully to Reese. Reese, with a jump move, breaks the tackle, and he's in. Touchdown, Chartelis Reese. First rushing touchdown of the year for that man, and damn does he look good.
Have a day, Chartelis Reese. He's got to be close to 100 yards on the day. That's first touchdown on the day for him, too. Great to see him hit pay dirt.
Quick check, no flags on the ground. Hold's not going to ruin that one for the Jumbos.
I know he had to jump over a guy to get in the end zone, but it pretty much looked like he went untouched until the last possible second.
You know, we joked about him getting scouted by the track team. Could also be a high jumper. I'm just saying, this kid's got it.
He got up and over there.
Von Seelig's extra point, well through.
Continues his perfect day. Now 3 for 3 on extra points and 2 for 2 on field goals.
Jumbos came out of the half with 20 points. Lead now 20 points.
Yep, this is worst case scenario for Bates, I think. I talked about last drive being a prove-it drive for Bates. This is, we're reaching the time of where you really can't go back from it. Down 20, you like to see Bates come out here firing. I would hope they come into a spread look or trips look and start throwing deep.
Yet again, we're going to send this one down over to Zachary Miller momentarily. We're going to get through the kickoff first. See what happens there.
Trying to get a gauge on the wind here right now.
This seems rather counterproductive. Flashing the lights is
flickering the lights during the kickoff. I'm not sure.
That seems like it might be illegal.
Yeah.
Can you give the behind the scenes people a flag?
I'm not sure.
What's the penalty? 10 yards, 15 yards?
Yeah.
Regardless, Patrick Walsh has been nothing less than stellar from the kickoff. right there, going to get the ball to around the 15. Off a hop, picked up by the Bobcats. Stop after the pickup. Stephen Lardy just couldn't get anywhere.
If you're going
Taken down by Nick Dressens.
If you're going to kick it short like that on the kickoffs, like he has the last 3 times, he's favoring that back right side of the field. That's great coverage by Tufts. You have to send your gunners down and rally to the ball.
Well, we're post kickoff, and as promised, we're going to send it down over to Zachary Miller on the sidelines.
Well, guys, it gives me great pleasure to give my first weather report and say that it has cleared up a lot. And you may have noticed that they've been attempting to pass a lot more because the ball hasn't been as wet and they're able to get it through the air better. And that resulted in the first interception of the night. We went 2 quarters and a half without one happening, and it resulted in the Tufts getting in scoring position. Another important stat that we've seen tonight is that there's been no sacks tonight. The offensive lines for both teams have been incredibly stout tonight, and that's something that both of these teams should probably be working on throughout the rest of this game. Back to you guys.
Just how I had mentioned, coming out and spread like I said I wanted to see. Good little dig route there by number 80, Maverick. Good pass and catch. Need more pitch and catches from Bosselate.
Our sideline reporter was just talking about how the rain stopping has, brought the passing game more into effect. The ball less slippery. Quarterback's able to get a better grip on the ball. And right there, we're seeing Bosselate go back to his bread and butter. He's been passing very well today. Goes back to it again. Quick slant. Good pickup for the first down by, I believe that was Sergio Beltran.
Yeah, you are correct. That is Sergio Beltran. And that's a quick game concept right there. Bosselate had to know he was going to Beltran right away. That's one of those you cannot read when you snap the ball. He noticed outside leverage on Beltran, and a slant route works all day in man coverage against outside leverage.
Yeah, we talked about it before the game, Henry. Short game is your friend if you are the Bobcats. They tried to go deep, and Lewis Timmons picked the ball off.
Absolutely.
Bosselate going to drop back, try and take some moves up, but he's going to get brought down behind the line. Ed Ayuteri, first sack of the season for the Bows.
That is awesome. We were just talking about at the halftime, neither team has had a sack. Last week, Tufts really struggled to get pressure on Trinity's quarterback. Excellent to see them breaking the offensive line and get in the backfield. That's a crucial.
The ball out there. Senior from Boston, Massachusetts, had 8 tackles in the previous game. I believe that's the first one of the day for him. Not only is it a tackle, got the ball out too. Low snap. Bosselate has it over the shoulder. On the left side was Beltran, just shy of the first down. Maybe even getting it. I lied. I so lied. That's 5 yards past it.
That was an excellent read by Bosselate. If you saw right there, number 22, Victor Garza, was lined up on Beltran. He almost did a little shift into the edge of the line of scrimmage to send pressure. Bosselate noticed that blitz was coming from the DB, knew that means a free man, hit Beltran right away on an out route. Perfect connection.
First and goal, ball on the 6 for the Bobcats. Colton Bosselate keeping this one himself, looking for Beltran. Not able to get there. No flags thrown. That one's clean.
Yeah, Rosario did look to be a little bit all over him. He was on his back, but that's a tough one. That's a slant. That's a quick, you're within the 5 yards. You're giving him you're pressing hard. I like the no call there.
Red zone option has pretty much exclusively been Sergio Beltran. had the one touchdown catch for the Bobcats way back when with a nice over-the-shoulder route on the left side.
He's out on an island now to the right, though.
More motion coming in. Bosselate going to hand that one off to Linsky. Linsky stopped short of the goal line, but going to make some small dents in the yard gainage necessary for the Bobcats to put up a 6 spot.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused by the orbit motion that Bates keeps running. They haven't done anything with it yet. I'm not sure. It looks really dummy-like, and Tufts has been ignoring it all day because there's been no threat coming out of it. So I don't know if Bates plans to mix in a little read option with the orbit or a screen pass out to the wide when that comes through. But nonetheless, good run play there by Bates. Picked up a couple yards.
Timeout going to be called by the Bobcats. 3rd and goal, down 20. You have to imagine if the Jumbos manage to come up with a stop with the 3rd quarter about to come to an end that you go for it.
Oh, 100%. This is it's 4 down territory the rest of the day for Bates, I think, until you bring this game back to within at least a possession. I mean, you know you have 2 plays left, so I wouldn't be surprised one of them's a run. Bates loves to run the ball. Either Bosselate on a design QB run, maybe get a couple lead blockers out in front of him, or give it to Linsky and let your big freshman get a score.
If they are to run a run play, have to imagine it would come here, make some short yardage gain. Maybe you take it to the house if you're Linsky. If you get 3 yards, you put it at the 1 yard line. Maybe they bust out the Eagles' classic quarterback sneak, get 2 of your bigger tight ends right behind them, shove the pile through.
Yep, Nezcac hasn't outlawed that yet like the NFL is looking to do.
But I mean, it's just been so effective.
It has. It's unstoppable. I am a spread fan myself, though, so I would like to see them throw at least. Honestly, I'd prefer them to throw it twice. I think if you keep putting Beltran out on an island when Tufts exclusively runs this man coverage, there eventually will be success on some sort of in-cut.
Not going to be on an island right now as he has 2 other receivers on that side with him. As I say, he's going to start getting in motion, get the legs running. It's a pass. They're looking for Beltran. Beltran right at the goal line, falls in for a Bates touchdown. Number 6 putting 6 up, taking the lead to 14 for the Jumbos.
That was an excellent route by Beltran. A little whip route right there, the fake motion on the inside. He comes back out. He fakes like he's going to run a flat route, pretty much exclusively running straight to the pylon, and then digs in real hard and spins back. Bosselate put the ball right in his chest for the touchdown.
Sergio Beltran having himself a night for sure. 2 receiving touchdowns, a bunch of huge gains. This kid's been on fire. Extra point is blocked by Rosario. The ball is brought in by the Jumbos. Not going to look like they're going to get anywhere, though. Cutting over the side, trying to make the hurdle move was Shane Rayner. Great job to pick up the ball, catch it.
Yeah,
Just not able to get much more than that.
One of the senior leaders on defense, Shane Rayner, making a huge, getting a little chance to show his prowess in the return game. He wasn't in on the block, but sometimes you like to see the big man rumble.
If I was seeing everything correctly, I believe that stop was made by Colton Bosselate. He was holding the ball on the kick. Great job by the Jumbos to break through the line and obviously deflect it, but Bosselate, I mean, that was incredible. He made a tackle on a guy like at least twice his size.
Yeah, but if you're Bates, you don't like to see your quarterback going out there and tackling a defensive linebacker. That is not where you want to put him. Regardless now, Bates down 14. You need a stop.
14 points versus 13 points doesn't really feel like it's a huge difference, as it is still requiring you as the Bobcats to score 1 touchdown. You just got one. That has to be the turning point.
Absolutely. Would be interested to see how long before an onside kick gets busted out.
Marcos Ruiz was previously perfect to start off his collegiate campaign. Jumbo's going to take that one away from him, but Ruiz, not a lot of time to rest. Got to get back to that line for the kickoff. Andre Smith still set back to return for the Jumbos.
Interesting they just motioned their gunner out to the wide right here.
This one's still going back for Smith. He'll catch it in the end zone. Take a look, take the knee for the touchback.
Smart play there by Andre Smith, but you know, from a fan point of view, you like to see him make returns. He's so shifty and elusive. Every time he takes the ball out of the end zone, just a little piece of you thinks, is this the time he houses it again?
Honestly, had me a little bit concerned, too. Didn't know if he caught that ball just before the goal line.
Yeah.
And if I remember my football rules correctly, you catch the ball before the goal line, step back into it, take a knee. That's a safety.
That is a safety indeed. Those baby blue jerseys blend in real well with that end zone. Curious to see what Tufts comes with here, a pass or run heavy drive.
Well, first play is a run. Chartelis Reese up the middle, going to pick up 11 before getting stopped by Jack Morrison.
Reese continuing his career day. This is the most carries he's ever had in his short tenure at Tufts. He's really proven himself as a do-it-all back, filling in for Tyler Johnson, who graduated last year. Big hole.
11-yard gain by Reese puts the Jumbos on the 36-yard line. Waiting in for the call. They've been really running this 3-receiver set the whole way through. The Super Jumbo has taken a quiet nap.
They still have 6 linemen in there, though, right now. That's a big front.
Berluti keeping this one. He's got Cade Moore. Cade Moore going to run up the middle. Got his jersey held, but nobody brought him down until he could run another 5 yards. Take the ball to midfield. 14-yard pickup for the wide receiver one of the day.
Cade Moore sat down right in the middle of the hole in that coverage, and Berluti teed him up. He's a sneaky big dude. He broke a few tackles on that and got the first down for 10 yards. This is interesting for Tufts, though. Coming out throwing with a minute in that and some change left in the third quarter. I'd be curious to see them come back to the run. I assume they would.
Clock still ticking, under a minute in the third. Jumbo's just shy of midfield. Berluti keeping this one himself, looking to the left. Richardson on a deep ball. Richardson not going to reel it in, not going to get it in bounds. As our sideline camera woman, Ariel Weinstein, took the tackle from Richardson. She's back up. Could we get some hearts in the comment section? I mean, we're experimenting here with this idea of a sideline camera and putting your body on the line. I mean, that's...
Yeah, you can credit her with a pass breakup right there, I think. Again, though, interesting choice by Tufts to air the ball out. They're really letting it loose. Up 14. I like them keeping the foot on the gas. This is really setting the tone. You're letting Bates know we're not going to back off and let you get another chance with your offense after such a successful drive.
I believe a pass interference flag did come in, putting the Jumbos at the 36-yard line. Chartelis Reese with plenty of space went up the gut, off to the right side. Stiff arm for the first-yard gain. Still had some moves left in him. Knocked down just before getting out of bounds. The clock will run. This kid, I mean, what can't he do? He's got the jukes. He's got the spin moves. We haven't seen it yet, but I know he has it in him. I mean, how could we not? He's just going everywhere, and he seems so hard to stop, breaking 3 tackles in that last run.
He's well over 100 yards now on the day. That's an excellent inside zone read, and I mean, broke into the second level there with an explosive jump cut like 5 yards after the line of scrimmage. Bates really has no answer for him today. I honestly, I can't blame him though, because coming into the game, how would you know he could do all this?
Ball on the 24. 1st and 10. The Jumbos let the clock run out, and that'll be the end of quarter number 3. Jumbos still retaining their 2-score lead, up 14. Nearing the red zone. It seems to be that everything is just brown and blue tonight.
Yeah, you're right. It's really been Tufts dominated today. I'd like to see Bates get a little bit more aggressive on defense. You're not gonna beat Tufts at their own game. They love to run spread. If you just keep sitting back in zone and letting Berluti pick you apart, you're not going to do anything. You got to pressure him, and you got to force him to make an error. An interception here would completely change the game around. There's been no turnovers today so far.
Yeah, the Bobcats definitely are not out of it. Jumbos have not been 100% from the red zone at all this season, not in any game.
Yep.
Granted, it's only 2, but not in any game. So even holding the Jumbos to 3, minimizing the damage, knocking off 1 extra touchdown that you have to score can still be the difference maker. Getting the stop could be huge. Getting the stop right here, no more gains for the Jumbos, makes the field goal about 42 yards.
Yeah, I think your math is about right on that one.
Starting off the 4th quarter, Ball's going to be handed off to the left side and running. Picking up the first down and then some, we got Khalid Calhoun.
Yeah, if you saw there, senior number 44, Rich. Huge hole for the running back there on that large gain.
Now, the Jumbos have kind of used their tight ends like that this whole game as a lead blocker whenever they are in there. It's either we see Moore, Fleckner, and Richardson in at that receiver set, and you'll have Shortellis Reese be the running back. But whenever Reese is out, they tend to bring in that tight end. Right now, doing the same thing as Jack Elliott sitting off the right side of that line.
Yeah, and you see Jaden Richardson basically alone on the right side here.
Berluti keeping this one, rolling out to the right. He's looking for Richardson, but he'll instead hit Elliott. Elliott going to bring it in himself, moving up the line, trying to get there, but brought at around the 2.
That's what you get from your big body tight ends like that. He fights for extra yards, squares up his defender, literally faces him head on, and bull rushes him over for another 3 yards after the catch. Great job there by Berluti. He got flushed out, got turned around a little bit in the pocket, rolled out to his right side, his favorite side, and found his target. I think he was looking for Richardson originally. That was his first read, and then came back down to the tight end and found him.
Good coverage was coming in against Richardson. Smart by Berluti to instead look to another option. 4 yards to the end zone, 1 yard from resetting the downs. The Jumbos have to imagine it's a run situation. Reese has it. Reese off the right. Reese in the end zone. 6 more for the Bows.
I think I saw, count them, 8 linemen out there on that play. Would have bet the whole house that was going to be a run play. You betcha. You got all your big bodies out there leading the way for your star running back, Shortellis Reese. Have a day.
So if the Super Jumbo is 7 linemen, what is 8?
The Mega Jumbo? I don't even know. What do you call it?
I think you call it a guaranteed touchdown.
That is what you call it, Jordan.
Von Seelig has had plenty of work today.
And that's your favorite type of day as a placeholder kicker. You love getting your short PATs. Continues his perfect day.
Extra point good from Seelig, extending the lead to 21 points. The Bobcats, it's touchdown or bust every drive from this point forward. We're going to send it down to Zachary Miller on the sideline with a quick game break.
All right, well, we just saw Tufts score yet another touchdown in what is now seeming like a runaway, literally, with Charterius Reese scoring another touchdown. I wanted to point out earlier when you saw that Bates missed field goal, that was Tufts' first of the year, and that was their first blocked field goal since October 1st, from my records, from when they blocked a Williams field goal in a defeat. Back to you guys.
That's a very interesting fact that Zachary Miller just provided us with. Almost 365 days since the last time the Jumbos blocked any kicking attempt. Last one coming on October 1st of last season. That's crazy.
That is excellent. You love special teams plays. Those are oftentimes guys who don't get in the starting rotation. You'd love to see them come step up and make a big play. And if you take a look down at the sideline differentials here, you have Berluti pumping all his guys up, sitting in a circle, and then take a look over on Bates' sideline. Everybody's sitting down, kind of heads in their hands.
Kind of a weird squib kick coming in. The ball going to bounce over Lardy and go into the end zone. Not quite sure what happened there when Walsh kicked the ball. Kind of just came out spinning.
Yeah, it looked real interesting coming off his foot. I don't know if the weather had played a factor into that or that was a designed sort of squib.
.13:36 on the clock. Bobcats need a touchdown every drive that they can get from this point going forward. And they're starting off already with an interesting package as Seneca Moore will be in at quarterback. Every time that he's had the ball, it's been a designed run. Goes again off the left side, broken up. Spin move to avoid one Jumbo, but brought down behind the line regardless.
I just don't see the idea there from the Bates play calling. you send a design quarterback rush into the boundary. Tufts already has a lot of guys over there because you've overloaded the side into the boundary. There's way less space for your quarterback to take off and run. I'm not sure. Down 21. You got to start throwing.
Michael Butler making first contact, more spinning off of him, just not for any amount of time, as Javier Rios was also there.
Yeah, not for lack of trying for Seneca Moore. There was about 8 blue jerseys on him.
Bosselate, second and long, hands off the ball to Linsky. Small gain. Maybe bringing them back to the original line of scrimmage.
Getting flashes of my Chicago Bears right here, running the ball on 2nd and 17, down 21. You got to look to start throwing the ball. Your quarterback, Bosselate, has a great arm. You saw him load up with his favorite receiver, Sergio Beltran, all day. Now you've put yourself in a situation, 3rd and 16. It's obviously a passing down. Tufts obviously knows you're going to throw the ball. Interesting to see them only go with 3 wide receivers out here as well.
3rd and 11, ball on their own 19. It's just not great things. Bosselate looking for the deep ball. He's trying to hit Moore, but he can't. Oh, excuse me, Beltran couldn't hit him.
Yeah, no surprise you're looking for Beltran. I remember, back in my days at quarterback, you have your favorite target, and when you get in situations that are this dire as 3rd and 17, backed up on your own, inside your own 20, you got to look for your guy. You trust your guy to go up and make a play. He was triple covered there, so not much he could do. Pressure in Bosselate's face as well when he's throwing it. So this is a really tough punt for Bates with 12 minutes left on the clock. It really feels out of reach.
Jumbo's forcing the 3 and out. Andre Smith set back to receive the punt, who it looks like will be from Marcos Ruiz. Ruiz with a low snap. High punt. This is going absolutely nowhere. Going to fall around the 30-yard line. Nobody touching it. Ball rolling backwards, too. Just about the worst thing you could see for Bates.
That was a net 11-yard punt. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. That is, yeah, like you said, the worst thing that Bates could have done right there. My goodness, special teams have plagued Bates today. They had the fumble on the punt earlier that cost him with only a 20-yard punt, and now this one with, he looked like he had enough protection to get it off. He just kind of, I don't know, muffed it, or
the ball fell flat onto his foot, it looked like to me, and just hit the ball.
Quarterback
nowhere.
change here.
Quarterback change indeed, Henry. Matt Crowley not going to be a blocker here. Will hand that ball off to Reese for a small pickup. I lied, Calhoun.
Berluti on the sidelines right now with his helmet off. It looks like they might just be giving the senior some time to run, as the game is wildly out of reach. Good to see Crowley getting some more time, though. See what he can do.
Last season, Crowley did have a real solid performance in the playing time he had. 23 for 44, no interceptions. It's 52% completion rating. 435 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Also had solid amount of rushing yards to add on to it. Going to hand this ball off to Khaled Calhoun again. We'll have yet another small pickup, but be short of the line to gain.
You can see an entire offensive line unit change coming in right now. That is not typical for a football game. That is usually the signal of a game that is out of reach. Looks like all the second-string linemen are coming in to relieve the first string, who's had a heck of a day today, plowing the way for Chartelis Reese all day.
Crowley given 4 receivers in this set. Still has Fleckner from that original trio. Other names coming out like Robbie Moret. Crowley going to keep it. Struggled a little bit. He's going to run up the middle, try and get there. Breaks a tackle, breaks a second tackle. Still up. Matt Crowley going to pick up the first down, I believe, if not just be a couple of inches short. What an effort.
I love the decision to tuck it and run it there. Some quarterbacks don't do it often enough. You see your blanket coverage, nobody's open. Tuck it and run. You got legs like that, you stick it up the middle. They had edge rush coming off both sides, so the B gap was wide open, took it straight up the middle for a nice first down gain.
Minute marker set to single digits now, as we just passed the 10-minute mark in the fourth and final quarter of this NESCAC matchup. Matt Crowley in at quarterback just picked up a first down. 1st and 10, ball on the 15. Going to hand this one off for rather small gain to Joey DeLumo.
Yeah, nice little small gain right there. Looked like a simple RPO concept with C.J. Burton, senior wide receiver or sophomore wide receiver, excuse me, running a little bubble screen from the slot receiver. Interesting decision to hand it off there as he was uncovered outside wide, but at this point, you take the time-wasting run play for a couple yards.
Jackson Collins, the stop there for the Bobcats, preventing any yardage gain. 2nd and 10. Crowley going to hand this one off again. Off to the right side was DeLumo. Stopped after a short gain of 2.
I like the run play again, but as I just mentioned on the last play, they had C.J. Burton wide again on a screen pass to the left. They have what looks like a linebacker guarding him, or who was shadowing like he was going to guard him, but his head was turned in the whole time looking at the ball, looking at the quarterback, clearly was not manning him up, leaving him uncovered on a screen pass. I wouldn't be shocked if they go back to it again.
3rd and 8. Looks like it's the same lineup as you just mentioned. No positional changes, not even a change in which receiver is in the slot. Crowley going to keep this one himself. Nobody knew he had it. Matt Crowley's almost there. Matt Crowley stopped at the 1-yard line. This man's making everybody miss.
Really nice run right there. Broke 2 or 3 tackles on the way, getting stopped at the 1. I'd say you give him the Jalen Hurts special, let him finish off his nice little drive that he's put together. Help get your big boys in there in your mega jumbo set, 8 offensive linemen, whatever you want to call it. Let your quarterback take it right up the middle. Reward the senior with a great drive.
This drive, while short, only needing to try and go roughly 30 yards, has been all running plays from the Jumbos, making the quarterback swap to Crowley, who has just gotten everything done with his legs. Ball on the 1, not taking it under center. Crowley not going to keep that one for himself. Running up was DeLumo. DeLumo is in for the touchdown.
Selfless play there by the quarterback, Crowley. Sometimes you get a little excited and want to pull it on the read option, take it in yourself. Way to hand the ball off, guarantee yourself a touchdown, and that about puts a bow on it for the Jumbos.
Hey, even if you don't keep it for yourself, you still led your team on a scoring drive that resulted in a touchdown. You're getting some newer guys in there. DeLumo, first touches of the game, first touches of the season, in fact, in this one drive. Had a couple of short gains, but doesn't matter if you only rush for 5 yards. If one of those is a rushing touchdown, I mean, you call that a success every time.
At the end of the day, you get to go home and say you scored.
Seelick, good again. 44 points.
Great job by Tufts today offensively. Really, Bates has had no answer all day. Their offense as well has not been able to keep up with Tufts' offense. Cannot match them drive for drive. This has been a complete domination from Tufts. But it is fitting in the fashion of their last, 15 some odd meetings. They're usually fairly lopsided affairs. Bates got the best of Tufts in 2021, 33-10, but Tufts got the best of Bates last year, 35-7. So really typical blowout fashion for these games, either one way or the other.
Last time the Jumbos kicked off, things looked a little weird off the kickoff, but Pat Walsh, see if he can amend some of those issues. The wind definitely kicking up. The wind at his back will help carry the ball if the end goal is touchback. Kick from Walsh, definitely better. Lardy going to pick that one up. Muffet in the end zone actually has to take the knee at that point.
Absolutely. I think he was taking the knee the whole time. Not really a big problem if you muff the punt when you're standing in your own end zone, but just it's damage control at this point. Worth noting that in the last 15 meetings, this is the second highest point total scored by a team. First highest was in 2018 by Tufts, which was 47. They won that game 47-14.
And with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, that seems all but reachable.
Well, you have to imagine if Tufts gets the ball back here, they would slow down a little bit and start running the rock. Interesting choice to let Crowley come out and see a few passing sets, but I like the aggression.
Looks as if no changes have been made for the Bobcats. Still rolling with their primary receiver in Beltran. Linsky still the running back. Bosselate still the throwing the ball. There it is, the orbit motion again, and it's just a handoff to Linsky up the middle for a pickup of 4.
Yeah, at this point, it's about getting in reps for your younger guys, your new players. You know, the coach talked all offseason about all these freshmen and sophomore that he had coming in. This is where you get them reps. You mixed in guys that haven't seen a lot of play time before, and plays like that with an orbit motion and a design run up the middle with 7 minutes on the clock, down, 28. You're kind of waving the white flag.
Second and 6, the Bobcats at least trying to get to a first down marker. Bosselate handing off to Linsky again. Linsky up the middle, small gain, brought down after another pickup of 2.
Yeah, they came out in what looked like a 2-by-2 set right there. I got a little excited. I thought I was going to see some spread passing action. Unfortunately, another design run. But at this point, I think Bates is just letting the time run down.
Marshall Weiss with the tackle. 3rd and 4 for the Bobcats. Beltran is alone on that left side, being covered in man. Bosseley keeping this himself. He's going to look to run up the middle, not going to actually make the move. Tries to throw the ball to his tight end in Nolan Hobbs, but a flag is thrown. I think we're getting a PI call.
Yeah, pretty bad PI right there, but throw was behind him. Again, how I mentioned like much earlier in the broadcast, they had that deep ball that got the PI called. It's really tough when you underthrow or miss a throw for the DB to adjust, because they're trying to turn back and get the ball, get a look at the ball again, and oftentimes they run back in through the opposing team's wide receiver, and that's pretty much what happened right there. That was almost an uncatchable ball. It's tough to determine, though, as a referee, I think.
Not quite pass interference, but we will see a holding call come in against the freshman DB Lloyd Walter. Getting to take some snaps as the Jumbo lead has just absolutely sent this game on its head. Bosselate keeping this one. Quick pass over to the sideline for Beltran. What a catch by him. I mean, that was just impressive to turn around and grab that ball off of your opposite shoulder from where you're breaking. Come on.
Heck of a catch. Bosselate threw a rope at him, too, right over his head. Went up and grabbed it with both hands, and I cannot believe he came down with that.
6-yard pickup by number 6. We'll bring the ball to the 44-yard line. 47, excuse me. And it seems like what you were suggesting the Jumbos do with Jaden Richardson is the exact approach that Bates is taking with Beltran, keeping him on an island.
Yep.
Bosselate keeping again, trying to go that way for the first down pickup, but the low throw is not going to get it there.
Yeah, I love that pressure coming off the right side edge. I believe that was number 32, Riley Yaker, freshman. He's a big body, 6'3", 210. Sort of showed a delayed blitz at the last second there. Looked like Beltran was going to the left the whole time. So sending a blitz off that left side is really crucial. Got a hands in his face, made the pass difficult.
3rd and 4. Bosselate taking the low snap, handing that one off the right end, and gaining the first down marker was number 22, Aiden Barusa.
Bates seems to be running a majority of the time. I wish I had a stat on that, but when they come out in that set with the tight end, a little offset on the line, that big personnel pretty much, they're running almost every time out of there. Interesting to see. A lot of underclassmen out here on defense for Tufts right now, though.
Beltran going to run off, take a quick rest as we see the sophomore wide receiver Matthew Holmes take that spot as the lone receiver to the left side of Bosselate. Bosselate with a quick pitch over to his right, going off the edge and gaining about 4 yards there was Brusa.
Good little play. I like that pitch action. We haven't really seen that all day, actually. Just a direct open pitch turn towards the running back and let him get out in space and make a move.
I mean, mechanically it looked perfect. It was a great toss over. Rugby teams beware. Colton Bosselate can't just throw a football. He could also probably hurl a rugby ball too.
He's built for rugby too, big dude.
2nd and 6, 42-yard line. First time in a hot minute that the Bobcats have been in Jumbo territory. Taking all the action to the left side. Boslick going to call a timeout. Not liking what he's seeing in the defense.
Like to see Bates cycling in a lot of these underclassmen with 4 minutes left on the clock here.
No, I just noticed something interesting here, Henry. The entire defense was congregating, or is congregating rather, but off of the sideline, Michael Berluti just ran into that huddle. I mean, you talk about a kid who gets an opportunity last year as a sophomore to be the starting quarterback for the Jumbos, has a record-breaking year in terms of NESCAC passing yards, and also just one heck of a guy. I mean, you talked about it earlier, him amping up his offense after just a great performance, putting up 44 points, although you could call it 38 points, or 37 points rather, when Berluti was the quarterback. And right there, too, running into the huddle of the defense just to keep the energy going.
Absolutely. That's a great team leader right there. That's exactly who you want to be your captain.
Back at 2nd and 6.
I like this trips look here from Bates.
Going to hand off instead to Brusa. Pick up about 3.
Just letting the time tick. Had a little screen pass there with number 82, Zoo Jones, senior wide receiver, but chose to go and hand the ball off anyways.
My mistake. Bates having 2 number 22s. Recognize that one as Brusa. I was mistaken. Adam Steinberg, the carry there. 3rd and 4. Boslick going to hand that one off to another number 22 who gets tackled, spins off of it, doesn't get to go anywhere more than that. Steinberg again the carry.
And I have to assume Bates is going to go for it here, just get another look. The punt team has not been very successful today against this Jumbo's special teams unit, so I think keep the offense on the field here.
4th and 4, ball on the 40. There's a lot of 4s on the scoreboard right now. 44 points, 4th down, 4 yards to go, 40-yard line, quarter 4.
It's a lucky number. We'll see what happens on this 4th down.
Could be a 4-yard gain.
Orbit motion.
Boslick going to take this one. Pitch off to his left. Not received cleanly by Steinberg. Couldn't get to that ball. Almost a travesty.
Yeah. Interesting play. It's what we saw. I think it was on 1st down with the open pitch to the right side. Basically came back to the same play, did the same thing again. This time tried to send the orbit motion to distract, maybe get Tufts shifted over to the right side, and then run it to the weaker side like that. But that was just poor execution there. A little miscommunication between the quarterback handoff, or quarterback running back exchange.
My eyes went cold for a minute. I thought I saw a scoop and score about to come into play. Yet another quarterback change going to come in for Tufts. It'll be the junior Luke Leongas. He's going to hand off to the right side, and picking up about 70 yards is Joey DeLumo. Leongas now in control. 2:22 on the clock, 4 yards to pick up for the 1st down, and then I believe you can just take the knee the rest of the way through.
Yep, that about wraps it up here.
We'll see Jay-Sean Means in the backfield, likely to take the handoff here.
Curious to see if they give Luke Leongas an opportunity to throw the ball today.
Nope, he'll hand it off to, oh, I lied, keeping it himself. I thought he had it all the way. Leongas going to go all the way up, pick up the 1st down. So that will wrap things up depending on what happens with this flag.
Yeah, I mean, showed real explosive speed. That's all 3 quarterbacks Tufts has shown today. Running the read option really successfully, able to break the contain on the left side and have successful runs, although this one's going to come back. But good rep to get in there for Leongas.
Ball was previously at midfield. Instead, going to be taken back a couple of yards. Even 10. 2nd and 14. Minute 34 on the clock. Play clock ticking down, though. 3 seconds left.
Yeah,
going to have to get the snap off. Not going to happen. It's going to be a delay of game call instead.
Yeah.
Not even going to take the time out are the Jumbos. So 2nd and 14 is now basically 2nd and 20.
Yeah, but this is, when you get your third unit in here, delay games, things like that, that happens quite often because these guys don't see a lot of varsity action, and, in practice you don't have a set play clock the same way.
Clock still running. Minute 10 now, 14 seconds on the play clock. Is this the designed play here? Nope. Ball handoff to Means. Means going to pick up a solid amount. Not going to get the first down, but that should do it. 40 seconds on the play clock, 3rd and 15. You can tick this one down about as much as you want, punt it away, and then the game's done.
Yeah, going to give a special shout out to number 41 on Bates, Shane Broughton. Played high school football with him for about 3 years. He was in on the tackle there. Good to see him getting some burn.
Play clock at 20. It's just going to keep ticking. So not too much more to cover in terms of the live game, but we can talk a little bit about just how this game has gone. I mean, the Jumbos, after a rough loss, only putting up 19 points, having absolutely no part of the run game at all. 44 points, and it's basically all been done with legs. Means gonna get free, however. If he came out of that spin move, would have been something. But that's just going to be it. The clock's going to tick down to 0. And the Jumbos are going to come away with a huge win over the Bates Bobcats on homecoming night. Under the lights, the Jumbos get it done. 44-16, the final in 2-1. Call it. Well, 44-16. Everything running game for the Jumbos. I mean, Chartelis Reese.
Absolutely.
Matt Crowley. Mike Berluti.
Yep.
I mean, those are just the biggest names that I can think of when it comes to who got the ball moving. It was just absolutely an incredible sight to see from them. Not something that we were expecting. We did say the team that could establish the run game would be the team to win. Linsky just couldn't get enough done for the Bobcats. Kept taking a lot of runs up the middle that didn't really net him anything, as the Jumbos D-line, got to shout them out for sure. Ed Ayuteri, Michael Butler, Javier Rios, really just putting in so much work on that line to minimize the rushing yards. Even getting home for the Jumbos' first sack of the year, Ed Ayuteri. I mean, I can't really think of one thing that I would have done differently. Maybe there was that one missed interception, but even then that forced a 4th and long that just concluded that basically put Bates into the coffin.
I think we were pretty spot on in our keys to a game, though, if we go back and look at them. We talked about getting a sack is huge. Would have liked to see a little bit more pressure maybe from Tufts, but you can't really complain in such a dominant win. And then, establishing the run was huge. We've really not seen Tufts take control of the ground game like this before. So good to see that they can win a game on the ground rather than relying solely on Berluti's arm. I mean, Berluti himself, though, contributed on the run, had that huge read option pull for a touchdown early in the game to really open up the contest. And honestly, ever since then, it was smooth sailing for Tufts.
Yeah, just about every aspect of their game looked sharp. Getting the first sack of the season, getting the first interception of the season, multiple rushing touchdowns. This is a turning point. You did have a rough first matchup going against the defending NESCAC champions, who are now 11-win streak, going all the way back to last year's 9-0 season, picking up 2 wins so far this season. It was a rough matchup. You knew it was going to be a rough matchup. Not able to pick up the win, but still showing that this offense is just as effective as it has been in previous years.
Yeah, I think, head coach Jay Savetti would have liked to start off with a win, obviously, at Trinity. But, to quote Ted Lasso, you got to be a goldfish here. You got to forget those things. And to come out here and have such a dominant performance is exactly what you like to see after a bad loss. This sets the tone very well for Tufts moving on in the season. If they show up like this every game, they're going to be in almost every ball game they play. I don't know many NESCAC teams that can really keep up with the diverse playbook that Tufts has.
Yeah, and you never really know which side of the Jumbos you're going to get. Game against Trinity, it's 300 passing yards. Game against Bates, it's what feels like 300 rushing yards. Just two completely different sides of the ball, two completely different offenses that we have seen so far from the Jumbos. And you just have to imagine, if the day comes where they manage to put both of those together, this team is on something else.
Exactly. It's a little bit of a nightmare for opposing defensive coordinators going into the week of prep. You have to now think about run package personnel, think about passing personnel. you know, it was a quiet game for Jaden Richardson. That's not something we expected, but Caden Moore filled up in his spot. So if you're an opposing NESCAC team coming in, now you have to think of 2 wide receiver ones effectively. You know, Bates oftentimes sent a safety to help over top on Jaden Richardson and neutralize him, but that exposes Caden Moore. So you really have to pick your poison who you're going to neutralize in the game.
Exactly. And if we dial back to last season, we tried to do a post-game interview one time for football. It took a lot of effort to run all the way down to the field to go grab both Phil Lutz and Michael Berluti and then take them all the way back up here. But the beauty of the sideline cam and our sideline reporter is that becomes so much easier. We're going to send it down to Z Millie and Michael Berluti.
Well, what an amazing game we saw tonight between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Bates Bobcats. I'm joined here by Michael Berluti, QB1 for the Tufts University Jumbos. Final stat line tonight, 12 for 19, 140 with a touchdown, as well as 75 yards rushing and the touchdown. I got to get the cliche question out of the way first. How are you and this offense feeling after dismantling Bates here on homecoming night in the weather?
Yeah, we definitely feel good. Obviously, we struggled last week, so it wasn't our best performance last week. It was a great response from us. Great response from the offense, but certainly a lot more to build on.
Yeah, talk us through that 61-yard rush right at the beginning of the game, putting the Bows on the board early. What was kind of the play call there? And how'd you feel having all that open space for yourself?
I got to give credit to the O-line on that one. That was something we were talking about pre-game actually in our walkthrough. Our O-line was saying in that formation that the defense kind of really shifts to it, and if we had something going that way, I kind of remembered that. We lined up. They were all shifted to the right, and so we were just, kind of no one was left there. So credit to the O-line on that one for calling that one for us.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you about the O-line too, because they basically connection with Cade Moore. He did incredibly for you guys tonight. You completed basically half your passes to him. What does that connection mean to this Tufts offense?
Absolutely. First and foremost, the O-line, they've done a great job the past 2 weeks, and certainly tonight. I mean, we go as they go every week, and I mean, if they play like that, we're going to be in good standing. So they did an amazing job tonight, so it was great. O-line, can't say enough about them. Cade he's a freak. He works so hard. He's one of the hardest workers in the receiver room. Does a great job all week. We have a great connection, and super excited to play with him for 2 more. But yeah, he's a special player, and when he certainly makes plays like that, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and finally, we have the Tufts Jumbos going on the road to Williams next week, who just dropped their match today to Bowdoin. What's kind of the team morale going into that? What are kind of the keys that the Bows need to have to come home with a W in the column?
We're at home next week.
Oh yeah,
we're at home next
week.
No worries.
Sorry.
Yeah, it'll be good to have another home game, that's for sure. But just got to keep improving, keep doing our thing. Defense will tighten up. Offense will continue to get better and keep executing. So just a little bit more from us.
Michael Berluti, quarterback for the Tufts University Jumbos. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Final score, 44-16 here at the Oval. From all of us here at JumboCast, we had an absolutely great time with this broadcast. I hope you guys liked all the stuff we experimented with. Have to shout out everybody by name. I've been Jordan Burke, Henry Burns. Behind the scenes, you got Andrew Howe directing, assistant director by Max Antonini. 2 new freshman camera people that we had upstairs in Marco and Sophia. Zachary Miller on the sideline camera. Ethan Ito doing some behind-the-scenes graphics work for the Jumbo Zone. Felix Bhattacharya hosting the Jumbo Zone, and Ariel Weinstein with her one-pass breakup on the day doing the sideline cam. Really hope you guys appreciate it. We'll be right back here on JumboCast next weekend for another Tufts football matchup. And as always, stay home safely.